really? Up and down?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
that's
only way.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it sucks a
Oh,
little bit. Oh
it
God.
does. I got my stuff all set up for the other way too.
I know. I know.
Hmm.
Last night I was like, oh, this ain't right.
Let's see here. I'm going to improvise. I'm not sure how. There we go.
Oh, you'll be fine. It makes it like really scrawny, so now the chat will be like right on your face.
There. How's that?
Look fine, man. Got
Perfect.
some nice deer in the background.
Oh
A little
yeah.
airplane about to crash on you.
Yep. That's this one here. I shot this one in 1994.
That's really nice, man.
That's the first deer I ever shot.
Yeah. I think
180
I seen
inches.
one.
Yeah.
You put a post recently of one, and it was I'll let people come in and then we'll introduce you and stuff. But I seen you post a trail camera, and you're like, and I got him.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
later on,
It's actually that one right there.
That's a nice one. Been big bodied northern deer.
Yeah, man, I've shot
Nature.
some big bucks that have, or some tiny rack deer that have like the biggest body you can imagine.
Nice. This gigantic moose looking deer, you know.
Uh-huh.
So can you read the chat on your end?
Yeah, I can. Let's see here.
Last night we did a test run on this, and it seems okay. I
I
wish
seen
we
that.
could do what?
I seen that. I just hopped on YouTube and went and looked at your page, and I seen the live stream with Next Gen. If I would have seen that, I would have stopped in last night and chatted.
Yeah.
But I was out chasing big northerns.
It was 100. Yeah, I bet you were. It was 100% not planned. I just said I'm going to test it, and the only way I could find out what the chat looked like was hit public. And
Sure.
then at some point, Next Gen says, "Oh, come on, panel." So then I got drunk.
Nice.
And I did my best to answer or ask questions. So I've got a little list here. Some of them are kind of the same. There's a couple that are the same. They're all simple questions.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry,
Obviously, you don't have to answer anything if you don't want to. So there's
please
nothing
say.
personal. Nothing personal. So I guess we'll go ahead and start. You can introduce yourself if you want to. Everybody
Sure.
knows who you are, though.
That's right. You guys know, if you know, some people know me, some people don't. My name is Scott. I reside in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Man, I love the outdoors in general. Love trapping, especially beaver trapping. Do some muskrat trapping, do some otter trapping. I'm a horrible land trapper. Can't catch coyotes or foxes to save my life, so I stick to the water. Other than that, I love fishing a lot. You guys see a lot of my fishing stuff, so yeah.
I still say if you spent some little bit of time on a snowmobile and hit some snares out there, it would you would
Oh yeah.
satisfy that itch for people to want to see you go out there and catch some big fluffy. You got the big fluffy coyotes out there.
You know, when I do have I bought like 4 dozen coyote snares, like long ones from the fur buyer in Downer, Minnesota, Dusty Haug. He snares a ton of coyotes, and I bought a bunch from him. They've been sitting in my storage unit for like 2 years, and I have a snowmobile, Yeah. So every year I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go out and hang, a bunch of snares on these properties, and then it just never happens.
See, you're set up for it because you get them snows that stay there all winter, as long as you don't get a big one on top of that. So those highways they're already there. You just got to sneak in there and set them. But
and I used to, we never used to have coyotes around here. I don't know if I ever told you that, but back when I was a teenager in the 90s, my dad and I trapped a lot. And actually, I know how to trap fox. I've caught a lot of fox in footholds and a fair share in snares. But we'd have these fence rows that had like maybe like 4-inch squares, and there was like 3 spots along this whole fence row. I'd literally cut out some of the sections, so there was like holes just big enough for the fox to go through.
Yep.
So it's kind of cheating because I would just hang a snare on each one of those, and and check them every day. And it was easy catching.
Essentially, it's kind of like putting boxes out. Some people might think that's cheating, but you got to do what gets you to the numbers.
Well,
As long
yeah.
as it's, I mean, you know. So I'm going to start off by putting you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
The NTA is in South Dakota next year, and I believe it's in June.
Yeah.
I'm inviting you. I know it's like 4 hours for you, but it's 4 hours for me. That's like it's Sioux Falls, so it's a halfway mark for me
Yep.
to go to your place. So I thought about trying to get an Airbnb, go hit up the NTA, and then go do some fishing in South Dakota or something. So that's something for
Yeah.
you. Got plenty of time to think about it, but I know there's a lot of people that like to see you at a convention, and that would be like one of the best ones to go to.
Well,
So
now that you mentioned it, I saw that the NTA was going to be in Sioux Falls next year, and so every November, like the 12th through the 14th or something, there's an ice fishing show there called the Dakota Ice Institute show, and I drive there every November. So I told my wife next year that the NTA was going to be in Sioux Falls, and I told my boss too. And I told him that I was going to take time off and I was going to go and stay in Sioux Falls and attend that whole situation. So yeah, I mean, I'll say I'll definitely
I
definitely go.
I know there's some pretty good lakes around there too, so we could
And
hit something up.
I've never been to a national convention. I've been to the Minnesota one a handful of times, but only when it's close enough, for me to drive. But
Yeah.
no, absolutely, I'll go.
Last night we Jen. He's definitely looking forward to it. I
Oh
would trap
yeah,
her.
I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys. I can't even wait. It's almost like I don't want to call it a lifetime trip, but it almost feels like it because I a lot of people don't have a lot of time to do things, and it just happens that the NTA is going to be that close. So I'm looking forward to going, meeting everybody.
Yeah. Someone said I froze up, but I didn't notice it. So it could check. You guys make sure you refresh. Hey, what's going on here? Is this getting a little bit longer? You getting ready for wintertime with your beard?
So I've been fishing a lot of tournaments and been doing really good in them.
Yeah.
The previous couple we fished, we took fourth place in, and then the tournament we fished on Sunday, we did pre-fishing, and we did really well. Well, I was literally going to shave my beard down, and then I realized that the power of my beard is catching me the walleyes. So
The power of your beard. There you go.
so
It
I
could
can't.
be.
So I
Yeah.
can't shave it off now.
All right. Well, You already talked about happened in the '90s, so I'm gonna ask a similar question that I get all the time. How old were you when you started trapping?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to.
And I guess we can also say put in the same lines as who got you into it in the same kind of
My dad
area.
definitely got me into trapping. I can remember. So it was in elementary school, so it had to have been sixth grade or before that. I'm gonna say fifth or sixth grade. I can't. I don't even know how old I was then. Um, how
It's tough. We're getting really old now.
I know. I'm just thinking probably 10, 9, 10, 11. Like I
Yeah.
I remember even before that. Actually my first memory of trapping was my dad was trapping with another gentleman, and he was a good family friend, and this other guy, and it was all beaver trapping through the ice. And this guy was like the go-to guy for snaring beaver. My dad used some 330 and stuff, but this guy didn't run nothing but snares, and he caught so many beaver. But I just remember them taking us out or taking me out, and then they were around the beaver lodge, and they're like, "Be careful, don't come by the beaver lodge." So I went along the shoreline, and my dad's like, "Oh, because I learned how to like find trails of bubbles, for the dens
Yeah.
and stuff, and I actually found a bank den, and I went and told my dad about it, and he came over and set a trap in it, and the other guy was like, "Oh, that's not a very good set." So but we showed up the next morning, and there was a beaver in that trap, and it wasn't me trapping, but that's like my earliest memory of
Yep.
going out trapping. Um, but in elementary school, fifth or sixth grade, I'm going to say fifth grade, my dad used to pull me out of school all the time. He would pull me out of school and say my aunt died for the fourth time. or whatever. And I would, I'd get in the truck and he'd have a big smile on his face. And I'd see the pack basket in the back of the truck, and he'd bring my boots and my snowmobile suit and everything. And he'd take me out to check muskrat traps. It
That's
it
awesome.
was great.
Well, that actually brings up another question. We talked a little bit last night. There's a lot of people that are like in awe that you can trap inside of a hut, a muskrat hut.
Oh yeah.
I've I can't do it here, but I've actually attempted to get into one. It's a lot of work.
Oh,
So I mean, you're working for it. I mean, you got to get all in all those huts and then keep them from freezing. So
I honestly think my shoulder's getting bad, and I honestly think it's from muskrat trapping because over the years I don't trap as many as I used to, but some of my earlier videos from 5, 6, 7 years ago, trapping a lot of rats, and you got to chop over and over and over and over and over, into those huts with an axe, and it really takes its toll on your shoulders.
yeah, you definitely put in some effort. But I guess once you got them, keep them open, then you're good. But
Yeah, I
I, I,
I
I
use
told them to try to get into a hut, even though we're not supposed to. Just go ahead and go over there and see how hard it is for a coyote to get in one of them huts. you
sure.
know.
Oh, one of the other thing was, when you're rat trapping, your biggest enemy is a mink. I've ever told you that, but so many times you'll go to check a rat trap and you'll see a mink will have dug in, around whatever, and you pull your trap out, and sure as shit, there's
Half of it.
just the
Yeah.
hind quarters left, and it's
Yeah.
like, what the heck?
Yeah. We got pretty much in here, but I would like to see a mink in Minnesota. As I've seen,
Sorry,
the muskrat. It'd have to be real fluffy.
the what? Say it
The
again.
mink, the mink. I bet they're nice, compared to down here.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're nice up here. You know, so also when I'm rat trapping people, I've actually gotten a lot of hate on some of my videos from people. Like, it's almost like it's almost like baiting deer. Okay, we're not allowed to do it here.
Yeah,
So when somebody posts on a page like, "Hey, we're baiting deer," like, "We shot a nice deer," you see people, they're just hating on it. They're like, "Why don't you do it the real way?" Well, what's the real way? To me, the
yeah,
real way is how you were raised and got used to it. Well, I grew up rat trapping in huts, and people are like, why don't you leave those huts alone? And it's just about being responsible. I don't trap these huts when it's 20 below zero outside. It's usually, 20 degrees or warmer than that, and cut that hole, cut that plug out of the house, pull out a bunch of wet stuff, put your trap in there, and the key is, having a nice good wet plug to plug that hole with and seal it up, and then put snow over it, insulate it. That way that hut doesn't freeze up. And I will only trap that hut for maybe 3 or 4 days, and then I've actually plugged those huts back up and went to check a month later, and they'll actually rebuild the inside of the hut, like the remaining muskrats, like nothing ever happened. So
yeah,
it's just about being smart.
yeah. You're not cleaning the whole pond out.
No, you're not cleaning the whole pond out, and you're not letting the huts, freeze up inside.
How I see you're pretty low too. When I'm up there fishing with you, a lot of your places are low water. Your muskrat population showing
Oh,
effects
you know,
in your normal places, I would say.
like right now, the water is way down. Probably, I'm gonna say it's down over 2 feet from when you were here. You know,
Yeah. Jeez.
like like that lake that I took you guys out on fishing the walleyes.
Yeah.
Like, I can literally back like another 8 feet down into that access. It's just
Jeez.
crazy. But
Yeah. Go
but the
ahead.
population of rats is pretty good. There's it's not as many in the sloughs anymore, but a lot of these fishing lakes and the bays and stuff, you see a bunch, in there.
Yeah, my sloughs are dried up. You can drive your four wheeler on them now. So
That's
I don't know.
crazy.
It's going to have to be a long time. No places for them to escape to. I just assume that they just
Sure.
dwindled. I don't know where they go. There's no river or nothing.
No.
So uh, I've never asked you this one. Your favorite set. I know you use 330s and all that stuff. I know that you also like doing footholds also, so I didn't know.
That's so tough. It's tough because you get in the perfect situation, where I've been, I get to let's say a brand new beaver hut, and I'm looking around the pond, and I can see one spot, by the shoreline where the water's open for 20 feet, and I go over there, and the water's, a foot deep or foot and a half deep, just deep enough to get a 330 in, and
Yep.
you absolutely know in the morning there'll be a hump of fur sticking out of there with some ice on it, that. But at the same time, it's tough, you making a big caster mount set in a great pond, getting there the next day and just seeing that tail sticking up out in the water out there.
Yeah.
I I'm gonna
In
I'm
clear
gonna
water.
yeah, oh yeah, clear water. Oh, I
Clear
got some.
water.
I'll usually take like pictures. I'll take my phone. I have a few good ones where I've caught several beaver out of the same set, and the water's clear enough to where the drowning rod goes in the bottom. There'll be a 4 foot circle of just white sand around where it used to be mud, from the beavers going down and moving
Yeah.
around a little bit. But I'm gonna say like a 330, in a shallow, run of some sort, bank den, house den. I know a lot of people can't trap within 15 feet of a lodge either, and that's the other thing that I can do, and it does make trapping much easier for me. I'm not gonna deny that at all, but no, just a nice shallow bank den where I can stick just a 330 in there, and it's just wide enough to where the beaver's not going to make it around it. Nothing better, because you just know that there's going to be a beaver there, and when there's not, and you got a sprung trap, you're like, what the heck? Like, what could have
Full
possibly happened?
I've had set it off. I got, how did this even happen? After you catch a couple, it's like, oh, they know, close that door.
Close that.
So
I've had it. I've had it where they've plugged up my trap and dug a new run around it, and I've even had it to where I've had a run where I was just describing, like it's one run going in and out of a bank lodge, and there's no getting around it. Like I'll check a trap and there'll be air bubbles in there, but there'll be nothing in it. I'll leave that trap 7, 8 days. All of a sudden on day number 8, there's a beaver coming out of it by the head because they knew it was there, but there was just no way around it for them.
they come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. They held up as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going 50-50 shot.
Yep. Exactly.
So, well, this one was from the fans last night, and they're going to ask questions in the chat
Sure. I'm
too.
just
But
kind of looking. I've been looking at
yeah,
the.
right now I'm just I figure we'll just kind of ask a question for them here in a little bit. But broke your leg in a 330. Is this true or false?
I've never broke my leg in a 330, but I have fractured my leg in a 330.
Well, ain't that the same thing?
I don't know. It's up to you guys.
I think a fractured. So fractured. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I fractured my leg one time in a 330, long time ago, and I broke 3 fingers also.
really? So
Yeah,
don't put your hand in the 330. You're saying.
and this was all
What,
at the age of 16 or 17.
what about the guy that you see he punches the trigger, is laying down, and then it jumps up
Dude,
on his arm?
oh,
You
the
see
slow
recently?
motion guy with the Belial or
Yeah,
whatever.
and it folds around his arm.
I don't.
And
Yeah, I'm just like, this is going to be worth the wait.
yeah, he wasn't
Oh my.
fast enough.
Oh, absolutely. No, yeah. Um, when I was about 16 or so, um, I was beaver trapping, and I don't do this anymore, but I set a 330 and I laid it down in the snow.
Yeah.
And I went to get some sticks to set the trap, and I walked by, and I literally stepped right dead center into this 330, and it jumped up about 10 inches above my ankle.
See, I didn't know that, and we had a kind of a close call when I was traveling with you last fall,
Oh yeah. What
kicking around in there.
remember when I put my hand down in there?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. And I'm like, trap is sprung, and I'm swinging my arm all around the beaver run, go to pull the chain up, and the 330 is still set.
it was just kicked away.
Yeah.
Whoops. I did see a super chat, and they snuck a super
Oh,
chat in with a quote. New to trapping, what's your thoughts on Circle 280s for beaver and otter? They're legal here in Indiana, dry land. Going to give it my best shot this year. Uh, I think circle traps work pretty good. They're less. I think animals are more or less prone to not want to go into a circle trap. Have you any experience with circle trap? I got
never.
the. Geez.
I've never ever ran a circle trap, but I'll tell you what, I used to run. I don't have any anymore, but because somebody stole them all. But I
Yep.
used to run 280s, and
Nice.
they were a great beaver trap. I caught a lot of big beaver in them, and man, they sure do a number on otters.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have RBG traps, but I don't know if the price point. It depends on what price point you're looking for. If you're looking for lots of traps, then you want to go with the square version, I would say. So I think all 280s will work good, but okay, let's see here. I know Trapped Up is in the chat, I'm pretty sure. Do you think Trapped Up I gotta tease Trapped Up. I don't know how to put it. I wrote all this out when I was drunk last night. But do you think Trapped Up really fought the lake for 20 minutes? He's gonna
I'm gonna
watch
say,
this.
the first minute was solid fish,
Yeah.
and then the lake ate the fish, and he was just going to town on that thing. He was just rip and drag, and he had me convinced that it was pulling. And then after, that was, that was the best.
Okay, for those of you who didn't see it in my video and his video, he hooked the bottom of the ice somehow at some point, but we kept fighting the fish for a while, and he's never going to hear the end of that one.
Oh, it was the best. I'm glad when stuff like that happens.
I thought we were about to see the biggest fish come out of the ice,
Oh my
but it
God. Like,
didn't.
oh, let's see here. I'm just looking at a couple of these questions.
We got questions.
What's up, 330? Hey, what's up?
Go ahead and throw some questions in there. Next
Yeah,
gen or whoever has one.
there you go. Beaver Mile.
Great Oaks from Little Acorns. Thanks for the super chat, man. And I would
Yeah.
definitely try those circle traps.
Yeah, Great Oaks. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. It was nice.
Hey,
Oh,
Timothy.
let's see here. Well,
No questions, really.
no.
No questions. You just
Oh,
said the snares were
well,
great.
somebody had asked about Bearded Man Beaver Lair, but
Yep.
they have a Facebook page, and if you happen to order any, like you do literally have to message them through their Facebook page. That's the only way to get it.
Is it true you skin critters in your apartment? Any stories about that?
The true you skin critters in your apartment. I have never skinned anything in my apartment, but before I lived in my apartment, I lived in a house that had a dirt cellar floor, in the basement. But
Yep.
that one there, I used to skin all my beaver in the dining room. I'd put down a giant piece of plastic, skin all my beaver in the dining room. I would take them down into the root cellar, and I would flesh them down there, and then I would bring them back upstairs and board them in the dining room to dry. That didn't go over well with my girlfriend at the time. But that lasted about a year. But I couldn't dry them in there anymore. But I did skin a lot of beaver right in the dining room. I'd bring in a piece of paper, put them on the floor, right on the linoleum, and if blood got around, I just took a wet, washcloth and cleaned it up.
Yep. I seen one on here. Oh, let's see.
What's your best year on beavers? 467 beaver next gen is my best year beaver trapping. And that was all on foot. I didn't have a snowmobile or nothing. By myself.
What are you calling a year? Was it just
And that's in a.
you
I
finally
mean,
stopped catching monster pike in
yeah.
April and you trapped until May?
That was actually back when I never really ice fished. Like
Yeah.
beaver, like that's all I did from November 1st to it got to the point where I remember trapping this guy's house. He had a giant beaver lodge and he called me about trapping. I'm like, yeah, I'll come trap. I set 12 or 13 330s on this pond. I did dive sets around the lodge. I did caster mount sets. I remember it was about a 150-yard walk down this hill to the lake. And I remember, and it was like a flooded slough, but I remember walking down and seeing, 5 or 6 giant lumps of fur just around where traps were at. And I just remember telling myself, like just being like sad, like, man, it got to that point with catching beaver.
Yeah. Well, you had a video similar to that last year where you panned around. You're like, "There's one," and then you went over there.
Oh,
Basically, all of your sets. You're like, "Yep, they're all full."
yep, that was out on Heideland Lake. Right, I think it was right away in the fall. I actually, I think I might have even caught a black beaver on that video.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember the
and then
guy had told me,
and probably like 17 otter.
and yeah, just enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I don't know if you've heard, but all the talk at the convention is the beaver prices. Beaver, cats, otters is what everyone's talking about. It's right up your alley. So the beaver and the otters. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be back to $150 otters, which would be awesome. But I
something
know
would be
you,
nice.
I know you've been doing fairly good on your beaver, so it should be a little bit better for you.
Yeah, I think, and I sold, you know, unskinned in the round this spring, and I averaged $22, I think, is what he just said. Hey, bring in whatever, and it got, it didn't matter if I brought in 20 little ones or 20 big ones. He just figured it would all even out, but he gave me a $22 average on my
That's
unskinned beaver,
that's unheard of down here.
which is which is
Right.
honestly like more than I've gotten in many many years up here. I've,
Yeah.
I've I remember one time I averaged $22 on beaver, but I think I had 25 beaver and they were all extra large blanket.
Oh, yeah. Look who just came in.
Oh, oh, Mr. Mr. Ice Slayer himself.
What's up, trapped up? So, I don't know anyone in this area that wouldn't take $22 for a whole beaver. I mean,
Oh,
maybe they might give you $6 in the round around here. Beat
wow.
last year, but yeah, it's like $6, even with the price of caster and all that stuff. So, I told you if I ever became a fur buyer, I'd probably just come up there and get a couple loads while I'm ice fishing up here.
Oh yeah. It'd be a good reason to make it up. I thought you had to put in a dock lift or something up here in a couple weeks.
I need to. It needs to be one. I told my boss to just buy a Airbnb up there, and I'll just go up there and take care of
That's
it in the
right.
wintertime.
That's
Make
right.
sure the pipes freeze.
Let's see. I'm going to go back to some of these questions. Chris Seahas. How many beavers do you catch in a year? Chris, honestly, on a normal good year where I'm putting an effort, I normally trap until about the first of the year, and then I don't trap until springtime. 200 beavers. When I used to trap all winter, when I actually had snow, I didn't have to trudge through the snow. That's when I got up into the 350 beaver amount.
Next Gen
Oh,
said they had some people selling for 2024 for greens. That's pretty good last year. I didn't sell any beaver last year. I got a whole freezers full of them, but I I get obviously use the meat for my bait, so it's invaluable. But
okay. And the one guy that
what?
well, a couple of guys that buy from it or from me. One of them has his own like hobby mink farm / fox farm, and the other one supplies beaver to an actual mink farm. So
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Someone said they got a 75 average last year. Well, you probably got a Porsche and some other stuff.
got
That's
$75 average. Was that on blank? It must have been all blankets that were skinned out on in like a top lot or something. You
I'm
know.
not. Fleschner's got a YouTube channel also.
Okay. Nice.
Well, apparently Beaver was up last year, and we should have been. I guess should have been promoting it a little bit better.
I
Tyler, good. What's up, buddy?
I got to my fur buyer also has a bear camp up in Grand Marais, up in Duluth there. But he's been messaging me. He bought a like a 35-foot charter boat. He's been out lake trout fishing. Anyway, I gotta just touch base with him here one of these days and say, hey, what are your thoughts on, you know, round beaver in the round starting in November? Because if I could average $20 for beaver in November,
Yeah.
I would, I'm going to go out and set some traps regardless and put some videos out. But if I can get $20, I'll actually go out and put in a bit more effort and just set up a pile of huts.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind coming up and running some spring beaver trapping with you, because I've
Uh,
been it's freaking frozen solid, and then I come home, and then next thing you know, the ice comes off, and you're just filling your taking pictures with all these freaking beaver. I was like, yeah,
this spring was such an off year because I literally, when I started my spring beaver trapping, and I literally only got in like, I don't even think I got a weekend before I had to start work.
yeah,
Where normally, I would have already did 3 or 4 weeks of beaver trapping and been done and waiting for work.
yeah,
Like, I almost thought that we were gonna have ice for fishing opener, and we did. A couple of the lakes that I frequent, like there was full ice sheets that pushed to like one side of the lake or the other.
yeah. That's crazy. So for a fellow coming up for early ice, I can expect ice in November
I
around
think.
Thanksgiving.
Well, I traditionally I've been on the ice every year by Thanksgiving somewhere.
Yeah,
In fact, I think if I remember right, I have to talk to I have to ask Stu, but when Coon Creek was up here that for that um, couple days or so or day or whatever, um, he was up here about then, and I
yeah,
think there was only like 4 inches of ice, and we got into there's one bay that I always fish early. It's got big sunfish and big crappies in it,
yeah.
but it was right around that time.
Yeah, I can't remember the day. He came here after he left there. He stopped in here, and we ran around on my trap line. But
Sure.
it definitely was warm here, but I can't remember the
Yeah,
exact time.
sure. Derek Pennington, what's your favorite way to trap footholds or conibear and why? Much respect from Maine. I, I, if I'm actually going, I don't know, if I'm actually going for ease, and I'm on a trap set, I like going 330s. I can get them in more areas, I think, than I can footholds. Um, but yeah, that's probably my favorite way. Putting them in runs or caster mounds in springtime are kind of king. You don't have to worry about the beaver going through a certain area, like a run, you can just pull them in with some sort of lure. Um, they are my most productive way, I'd say. But for if I'm going for fun, like just a challenge and whatnot, I love a foothold, a big foothold on a drowning rod. It's that whole, I don't want to say kid mentality, but you go up to a set and because everybody kind of peeks especially if it's muddy water, you peek to see if your trap is gone,
Yeah,
and then you look at the first foot of the drowning rod because sometimes, you'll get a sprung trap that's a foot down the drowning rod. And then all of a sudden, it's not there. So you're just wondering what's at the end of the line. That's to me, footholds are probably the funnest. Snares are fun too, though. Oh, there's too
yeah.
much goodness.
Have you ever pulled up a drowning rod and there's a coyote on it?
I have not pulled up a drowning rod with a coyote on it. I've
I had,
seen.
I had a weird year a couple years ago. I was catching coyotes in my pocket sets. It
That's
was weird.
crazy.
It was weird. Just see a
I've caught.
freaking coyote in a 1.5 on a side of a bank.
No, I think. Let me see. Oh, let me see here. Look at flesh and more. Let me clarify. $75 beaver average was me tanning and selling at 10. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. I've
yeah,
I've honestly, I haven't had a place to process my fur in quite a few years. But now my buddy Mike Witt that owns the Quality Bait and Tackle in town, he informed me that his hole downstairs is open and heated in the wintertime. So I'm gonna do some beaver processing down there. I wanna get some flesh them out and maybe try and tan them myself. Or I'd like to send out a bunch of hides and
yeah,
tan.
yeah. It's kind of cool when you get the box and you got all this fur that brings back memories of all the catches.
Oh
And
yeah.
that still does. Just like your deer in the behind you, you look at it and you can picture that morning or afternoon and when you got him. So flooded
Yeah.
with it sometimes.
I would like, and when I trap in the in the springtime, it's warm out. I gotta get rid of those beaver. I put them in storage unit for 3 or 4 days, and I gotta get rid of them. And then it's fine.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy piling up that fur and getting a good picture and just you're almost like a fur hoarder.
Yeah.
I want all the beaver.
Well, Internet Veteran dropped super chat and great folks
Oh,
from
Greedo.
Little.
Oh,
See you, buddy. Thanks for coming in.
yeah.
Internet
Thanks,
wants to
Greedo.
know: would you rather fish with I don't know who that is, Omar, or
Oh,
with Biden?
God. You know what? I'd have to take one for the team and fish with Omar.
Do you know who it is? I don't know who it is.
Huh?
Is it your congressman or something in Minnesota?
Um, it's that girl in Minnesota that she was like I can't remember, like this. Help me out here.
I'm
Down in
not
the
in
city.
politics. So
Yeah, she. I don't know. I don't talk politics, but she messed up a lot of stuff for us in the cities. Let's just say that.
I got one for you. What's your opinion on the non-resident trappers can come trap Minnesota?
You know, I
You know how often I would be up there? Maybe
that
it's a
would be
good.
great. I don't understand why they don't let non-resident trappers come in. You know what? And if they're, I don't know. I mean, if they're worried about too many people trapping it, why not? Why not be offer a limited license? You can come and trap for a week or something just for the experience and have some fun.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool if they offered weeks.
Yeah. I mean, why not? That'd be just be ideal. Then you have another reason to come up here for a full week.
I'd have to make it two because it's
Yeah,
hard to trap and ice fish.
that's right. Oh, I
They're,
like
they're,
that idea.
yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of strange. So
Sure.
I would assume you would think the states next door would follow the same practice and they wouldn't let you guys come over there, but not all
Well,
states like that. But
no,
they do that though. Like if I
they
got in
do.
trouble here, you couldn't go to Nebraska or something, vice versa.
Oh, really?
Well, I think there's some states that if we don't offer deer license, then they won't offer their people though. It's weird, but
Okay.
I'd be up there trapping more.
Oh, that'd
Just
be.
the huts, just to go, no ice, just to look over and see a hut, and then you see them baby blue runs coming out of it.
Oh,
It's
dude.
only a foot or 2 foot deep, crystal clear water.
I
Yeah.
I trapped one lodge. It's on video. There was a little bit of snow on the ice because we got some snow early, but there was enough ice to walk over to the lodge, and I could see the lodge with my binoculars plain as day. And there's a big feed pile out in front of it, and the lodge is built back in some pin reeds. And around here, if you have pin reeds, it's super shallow water. So I'm like, oh, but go over there, and there's literally no water in these runs, and you know that th- they're like a foot and a half deep, and they're perfectly like this wide for like 10 feet, and there's no possible way for them to get around it. You know, and I put 4 traps in. I put 2 traps in each run. Put them about 6 feet apart, and I think on the video, I'm like, this is going to be like a guaranteed double beaver.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got there the next day, and it was, you clear the water or you clear the snow or the slush away, and it's just like the house that we trapped out there in Big Cormorant.
Yeah.
You can look down there and see the water, and it's just, oh, it's
Truth
just,
or dare, giving away his locations.
oh yeah. Well, there's like 8 beaver
Whoops.
houses on that lake if somebody wants to
Yeah.
trap one.
Hey, the first time I come up there to trap with you, it seemed like any pond or lake, there was a lodge. Remember, I stopped and took a picture of one, like right on the edge of the road. It was on the right of way. I was like, this
Oh
is
yeah,
crazy. But when there's
yeah,
snow, they're a little harder to find.
sure.
So I did see something on here, a question that they asked if you trap private property, but you want to explain how your right of way deal goes as long as you have
So
permission.
So here, like the major highways, there's a right of way sign, and if I remember right, if you can access, like step on a body of water within that right of way sign, that right of way. So here, they literally marked a right of way. There's a sign that says RW on it, and there's no trees or nothing. It's just grass in the ditch all the way up to that right of way. So as long as you can touch the water within that right of way, you can literally trap any, body of water you want to, and as long as you don't touch the shoreline. Well, I really don't do that. I don't like making people angry, and I'm not, I don't have a shortage of beaver or muskrats around me really. So it's not like I have to go in and trap these certain places. And there's so many beaver around that, generally if I get a hold of somebody, they'll be like, yeah, only time I've had problems is where somebody says, "Yep, can you come and trap the beaver?" And then I get on they own half the lake. Well, the beaver lodge is on the other side of the lake, but it's not, it's on the other guy's property. But as long as you don't touch the shoreline, you're not trespassing. And then, I've talked to somebody and they're like, "Well, we don't want you trapping the beaver." I said, "Well, the beaver lodge is against your shoreline, but they've cut down 150 of this neighbor's trees."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we don't care." I said, "Well, I said that the facts are I can cut holes in the ice and trap around the beaver lodges. As long as they don't touch your shoreline, you can't do nothing about it, And then they've called the game warden down. I mean, the game warden comes out and he's like, he's not wrong. Like, you guys can't do nothing about it as long as you don't touch someone's shoreline. But generally, um, I would say, I have permission to trap all the spots I trap that are private, you know. But when you guys were here, like we trapped one public spot, the one with the clear water, and then the
Yeah.
one where I almost shoved my hand in the 330, that was a private spot.
Yeah.
Um, and the only reason it was private was because I accessed it through private property. There are many, many public areas here because you see all the lakes. You can drive up and, just get on the right road right away onto a big lake, or you can walk from a fishing access, or
Yeah.
there's all kinds of, but I would say probably 70% of my trapping areas are all public, areas.
Do they just the shoreline, or can you cut a hole and then when you step down and touch the bottom, is that trespassing?
Nope. So
They just
maybe
go.
7 or 8 years ago, that used to be the law. If you were touching the bottom of the lake, you're trespassing. Now the law reads that you can, it says fish, hunt, trap, doing anything recreational you want on a body of water, as long as that body of water can float a canoe. Well, how
Yeah.
big is a canoe, So
Yeah.
pretty much any body of water. And then in parentheses underneath that, it says regardless of who owns the bottom of the lake.
Yeah. Gotcha. It's kind of similar here in Missouri. If it's a navigable stream, but it's I don't know, it's blurry. Depends on your DNR really. And I met your DNR. He invited me into his shack and showed me him trying to spear pike.
Spears fish.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
he's
was
like,
Bill. Bill, he's a nice guy.
I knew you were fishing this lake because he'd seen a tree in the background. So I mean, they pay attention. I mean, he goes, I saw your big walleye, and I recognize that tree right over there. I was like, okay. I was like,
Oh,
okay,
that's great.
right. He was right though. I mean, he was right there.
I
So
didn't send you pictures from last night, did you? Did I?
I don't want to see him.
I was fishing that lake last night.
Really? Oh
Yep.
man.
Well, I got broke off by two giant pikes. So you'll probably be happy about that. But
They'll be
but
there.
I got like a 4 pound bass, 28-inch pike that I brought home and ate. But then I caught a 25-inch walleye on one of those giant minnows trying for pike.
Nice.
Yeah, it was all right for just a couple hours of fishing.
Maybe the one that broke off was that monster that Trapped Up had on.
Yeah,
It's still out
le-
there. It's still
legend
out
has
there.
it. Legend has it. It's still waiting for him to come back and catch it.
Yeah. Jason Montag, thanks for coming in, buddy. Thanks everybody for coming in. I know I'm not reading the chat like I normally would,
Sure,
but I
I'll look at something here.
appreciate y'all being here. If you're not subscribed to 330, make sure you do. Will somebody drop 330's link for me a few times here, and we'll make sure you guys go hook up with him. He he slays the fish, the beaver, and he's really good at getting otter, whether he wants to or not.
I know.
What's
Otters
your
just
what's
they
your
just
limit
find
there?
me.
10?
No, so it's 4, and I know that the
Oh,
DNR sent out a thing last fall or spring on a proposal to bring it up to 10, which would be great because there's so many
yeah,
around. You know,
yeah.
it's just ridiculous.
I'd say you probably got plenty based on all the tracks I seen when we were beaver trapping.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see there, signal fishing. You know, just reading here.
Let's see.
Hello,
Andrew,
friends.
330's a badass. Been watching for years.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that, man. I got it. You know, and just to think about how long I've been doing it for, man, it's been a long time.
Yeah. I
Oh,
just remember you looked like you're probably 20, and the angry homeowner comes out there, and you look
oh
so young. I remember that was one of the first videos that I caught.
yeah.
How
Oh,
many how many millions of views that thing got?
that's got like 2.5 million, I think.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
When an intern veteran just asked a couple times if I ever been to Valley Fair and what my favorite ride is, just quick. I was at Valley Fair like 30 years ago, and I can't remember what favorite ride I was on or
Really.
what ride I was on, but I had fun.
Pond's doing good, guys. Every time I think about going up to the 330s, I'm gonna have to try to smuggle a big old pike back, the big old belly, a 28
You,
incher, big old
you
female.
do you have creek chubs there?
Yeah,
Do you? Okay.
yeah.
Like there,
I caught some and put them in the pond here recently, but they're getting big. Like we got some creeks. We're gonna do a catch and cook on.
I was about a month ago. I was gonna do the same thing. I was gonna go out and fish with them, and then when I didn't catch nothing with them, I was gonna do a cook
Yeah.
and see. Because I mean, they're big enough. Geez.
See, we kind of talked about sitting in front of the bait shop, remember? And what was that kind of fish we were gonna get? It wasn't a creek chub though.
Hmm.
Big sucker. We were gonna flay a big sucker there at the bait shop
Oh,
at Witt's.
yeah.
I just worried about what kind of water they're raised in, though. They got hormones at the, what are we eating here?
Yeah.
But I think that'd be hilarious. Give me your biggest bait fish you got, and we're gonna go fillet it out here in a parking lot.
It'd be great. Put it right in a bag like you're going fishing, and then go out and just dump it on the board and start cutting it up.
Yep. Uh,
Ooh,
question: You ever caught a fish in a 330?
I have. I a number of years ago, I caught like a 15-pound northern in a 330.
I could see how you could catch northerns up there.
There's a
Yeah,
lake.
especially in between two ponds.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was. There was a channel that led back into the bog where the beaver had been cutting trees down, and I put a dive stick set there with a 330 in it, and there was just enough space for it to get between the bottom of the stick, and I put a caster mount back there, and I'm walking down, and it was like probably like the first week of May, and I'm looking, and I'm like, what's that white thing down there in my trap? Like, what, is that a birch stick? I get down there and sure enough, it's got a like a 38-inch pike suitcase right by the head. And I would have took it home too or did something with it, but you could tell it had been there like since earlier the other day, and it was already slimy and weird shades
Yeah.
of white.
Yeah, I don't think I've caught a fish yet, but I've thought about it. Like just a big old catfish being in there would be. I mean, it's not what we're aiming for,
No,
if
oh
there's any
no.
in here. It's not what we're aiming for, but I'm going to eat it.
I've caught, one time I caught a huge greenhead mallard in a 220 on the edge of a cornfield set for raccoons. I've caught some weird stuff. I caught a grouse one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Up above that question there, it just says probably. Oh, it says. I bet you remember the first beaver you caught. That was kind of an interesting question, and I actually do remember that. I remember I used to go trapping with my dad all the time. I remember the pond, and the crazy part is, when you go to that pond now, the pond isn't even there anymore. Like it's
Like a house now.
no, it's like almost like a grassy field. Like there's no
Really?
water left in it, nothing, you know. Um, I used to help my dad get all the beaver sticks he wanted, help him find runs, this and that, help him chop the runs out, but I never set any traps. And then one day I chopped out a beaver run and I'm like, Dad, I'm like, there's a beaver run on the back of this lodge. It's super shallow. Like it'd probably be the easiest beaver catch you could imagine. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, well, why don't you set that up? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, go set.
Time to
Yeah, he's
grow.
like, go set it up. He's like, you've been watching me long enough. You can figure it out now. I'm like sweating, like, oh my gosh, my dad told me to go set a beaver run, you know. So I go over there and
I'm a man now.
yep, exactly. I remember clearly setting the 330, being super careful. Like he never did the swivel stick thing. I came up with that
Yeah.
myself. He always did the
Yeah.
springs out to the sides, but I put it down there, put a couple sticks in it. I don't think I slept 1 minute from then until getting back out there the next day. Get there and I could see my sticks are like all messed up, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you know. And I had a big blanket in there. You know, not only was my first beaver, but it was a giant blanket. I was just over the moon. I literally I took the beaver skin, it took the bottom teeth out and dried them and made a necklace with like beads and spinners and stuff. I thought I was the coolest person on earth. Oh, and then ever since that day, we were trapping. You know, we were trapping beaver together, but he only let me trap beaver that were on a muskrat pond. He wouldn't. Yep,
Yeah.
didn't matter because muskrats were the bread and butter. We could catch tons of rats. And that first year that I trapped beaver, I had 69 beaver, all saved up in a freezer. And I remember getting $40 a piece for the blankets and the carcass.
That's awesome, man.
A fur buyer that we normally don't sell to. I just got a hold of him and asked him, and he's like, "Yep, we're paying $40 for carcass beaver blankets." So I think we had 23 of them, and I talked my dad into letting me load them up in the truck and go down there with my mom, and he was floored when I came back with $900 in cash.
I bet he was.
He was.
I want to say off record or off note here that this is pretty cool. I like just sitting here and bullshitting and telling stories because, I mean, everyone has a lot of stories on trapping. I don't know. It's just pretty cool. We've sat and talked in the fish shed and in the boat, but it's still, I mean, there's a lot of this stuff I haven't heard. So I appreciate you coming in here, man.
Oh no, I'm having it's a nice change of pace. Like I said, and I don't. I think the last time that I went live on YouTube myself was about this time last year. I shot a live from the fishing boat where I caught some walleyes and cooked them and everything.
Yep.
I need to do lives more often, even if it's for an hour.
We did a live and the cooking the fish was awesome,
Oh
but
yeah,
the other
that's right.
northerns wouldn't stay off the line, and then when we tried to catch eel pout, we tried to do a live and didn't catch nothing.
No, I remember putting the camera down. We could see so far. It was so crystal clear out there. Oh my gosh, that was great. Do
I
you?
remember your first live was in your where you put your fishing poles out
Oh
in your apartment.
yeah,
You're you're hiding in your little area.
that's right. My
That's
wife and
the
I were just
first live
talking
I
about that.
remember.
I told
Yeah.
her, I said, I'm going out to the shop to shoot the live, and she's like, "Oh, you don't want to shoot it in the closet?" I said, if you're going to bring me Jack Cokes, then yeah, because that's what you did last time or that time.
Yeah. So this live stream is sponsored by Tim. He's in the chat. He brought me this guy.
Ooh,
So I had to take a drink of it. Tim's in the chat. Tim, I'll change subject for just a second. Tim came to his first convention in Nebraska, and I seen him at every demo. He even went to the kids stuff and made raccoon lure, bait. So he's hooked on conventions. All these years trapping, and you go to a convention and just like a little kid there. So,
oh, I love
but the
conventions.
guy he won traps and he won a rifle, a Henry rifle that has all the engravings for the trap and dill by buying 5 tickets. So, I mean, your first convention and he brought it here. I was like, I would definitely use that as a dispatch weapon.
Oh my god.
It would be in my videos. It was beautiful. all the gold and stuff. So
Oh my gosh, I love it.
let's snag a comment out of this chat again.
There's
3:30
yeah, that one from
video
Ruger
about
Farming.
yep, red beavers.
Yep, red beaver. Um, so we have a lot of lakes and ponds around here, rivers, so on and so forth that are clear water. But also very close to us, we have some really dirty rivers: the Buffalo River and the Red River, Wild Rice River. They all dump into the red at some point. But the water is literally looks like chocolate milk. There is no point at when you go there that it's really any clearer than that. But
Really?
yeah, but these beaver that are in this river, it's all clay banks. The the beaver lodge is up with it. I don't know. It's just weird because the water fluctuates so much. I mean, it can fluctuate 5, 6, 7 feet in days just from a little bit of rain. But anyway, these beaver that come out of there are like they are literally darn near like a blood red. You know,
Really? Gee.
it it
So
and their hair is like super duper coarse. Like, and the fur buyer originally, when I first started bringing him these beaver, the other one that isn't in business anymore, that they whatever, but he was giving me like half price. I actually brought them in, and he asked me if they were. He's like, "Are these beaver related to fox or what?" Just making a wisecrack, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, you got these out of the buffalo," but they were giant, and they're giant, and their tails are like they're just tons and tons of scars and chunks gone out of these beaver from the Buffalo River. I don't know why, if they fight so much or what the deal is, but they are just the reddest red you can imagine. It's crazy.
um, hang on. Hunt and stuff wants to know when the national convention is. Next Gen or Iowa Trapper? Do you know when that is? I know it's in June. And then the next question would be, how many black beavers have you caught? That's a bucket list.
How many black beavers have I caught? I'm gonna,
Yep. You get one tanned, right? Or you were
yeah,
talking about?
yep. I have a couple of them tanned. Actually, I had three of them tanned, and I've given two away. Um, I actually sent one out to a random guy that I met in St. Paul, or not St. Paul. Yeah, St. Paul. That's the capital, right? Yeah. I was there for jury duty anyway, and my wife and I were out having supper and having a drink, and I was talking about beaver trapping, and this guy next to me was like, "Oh, do you have any beavers? Like tan beavers?" He's like, "You trap, you do this and that," and I'm like, "Yeah." So I showed him a bunch of pictures, and randomly, I see him doing something, and I look over, and he hands me a piece of paper with his address on it and his name, and $300 in cash.
Oh, jeez. He
He
wanted one
said,
of them.
he's like, "Hey, can you send me that small black beaver?" Because he was like, "Well, what's it going to cost to get one from you?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. And yeah, so literally about a week ago, I I mailed him out a black beaver, but I still have my biggest one. Actually, it's the biggest black beaver to date. I caught a 67-pound beaver 3 years ago now in the springtime, but I have that beaver tanned at home. Nice garment tan too. And I keep telling, I'm going to get it made into something. I just don't know what I need to get it made into. And touching on that whole black beaver number, you know, all the beaver I've caught, and I don't know how many beaver I've caught. I would honestly guess like the total number of beaver I've ever caught is probably between, you know, I don't know. I probably, between 5 and 7,000 maybe.
Yeah. So
But
what? Those two that we got, me, you, and Trapped Up.
yep,
I believe I kept the red one. I'm not. I couldn't tell you for sure because it's been a long time. That was back
sure.
in January. But
Yeah.
I sent it with my buddy to get it tanned, and I just haven't picked it up yet. And
Oh, nice.
Trapped Up's getting the other one tanned. So,
Okay.
but it just amazes me how much thicker they are than And the tails have so much fur on them compared to ours here. We actually
Oh,
came back and made sure we weren't hallucinating.
oh,
But we
really?
have fur. We have a little bit of fur on ours. Oh, Chapped Up has the black one, and so that means I got the redder one, which is way
Okay,
red than what we have here. So
sure.
it'll be on the wall back here at some point. I just need to go pick it up.
Nice. Well, I've caught, but I'd say I've maybe caught 50 black beaver in my whole life.
Yeah,
Oh, is it true you fought off a rogue beaver by trapping it with a 330 that was in your hand?
I
That
think you have them come shooting out at you all the time. It seems like.
well, that no, but that he's asked me about a story that happened, um, maybe 10 years ago. I was out trapping beaver in the springtime with my then girlfriend, but wife now. I had her white Chrysler New Yorker, and I'm driving down the road, and I'm like 2 or 3 miles from the nearest water. I was up by Hitterdal, and it's an area that just doesn't have lakes like we do here.
Yeah.
But I'm driving, and it's like April, and there's this cut cornfield, and I look over, and I'm like, I look back, and there's a giant beaver like walking through this cornfield. This was probably 15 years ago. Actually, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
So I had this wild idea that I was going to walk out and hit it in the head with a stick, and boom, $20 or $25, in my pockets. I really had no money then. So I went out and hit this beaver with a stick, and it broke the stick, and all I did was stun the beaver for about 2 seconds. The
Oh
beaver's
God.
teeth started chattering like this, and it literally charged me. And I'm running like up to the car, and now there's vehicles parked on the highway, and they're screaming at me to leave this beaver alone, right?
Oh
So
jeez.
now this beaver is chasing me around my wife's car, and I'm literally playing peekaboo around the corner with it. And it comes around the corner of the car. I run by, reach in, and I hit the trunk button. The trunk pops open. I run in. I grab a 330, and I run like 70 yards right down the highway as fast as I could. I turned around, and the beaver's coming at me. He's like 60 yards away. And I set this 330, take the safeties off, and I'm holding it out in front of me, like walking at the beaver, and the beaver's like charging me. And it got like 10 feet away, and I literally placed a trap in front of its head as it lunged at me and caught it right by the head. And it rolled around in the highway, and more people stopped and yelled at me.
I can just see you getting people trying to beat you up out on the highway.
Oh, there was, and then,
Save the
and like
beaver.
it's,
Save the
oh
beaver.
my gosh, that was, yeah, that's the time one actually attacked me while I was trapping. And there was another time I had one, I don't know, I caught a beaver in a 330, like checking traps one day, and it was limp, I could tell I just caught it not too long earlier. Threw it in the back of my truck. I got to the next stop, and it was sitting in the back of the truck, like walking around.
Yeah. So
So
this would have been right before YouTube, huh? Probably.
yeah, yep, yep. That one I set a trap and threw a 330 on its head. But
Yeah.
yeah, these are all before YouTube. Yeah, like whenever my wife always loves me telling that story to people because they don't know that I trap.
Yeah, you're just out there. I get you, you son of a bitch. So I guess the biggest question I got since I was drinking and I wrote these out, and luckily people are asking questions in the chat because they saw me fail out. Oh God, man down. I don't know if I've ever heard why or how you started. Are you froze? Are you there? Uh-oh. We might have lost him. He's gone. He froze up. He killed it. We'll see if he comes back. Oh no, I wanted to know how he started YouTube. Uh-oh. Man down. 330 down. Let's see. Yeah, those are some pretty crazy bucks back there, Midwestern Trapper. I might have to boot him and then see if he comes back. Here, let me try it. I boot him, and then and hopefully he comes back. Come back. Next gen, dude. I just realized that you know, 15, 20 minutes ago that it's cool to just sit here and listen to his stories of trapping. Anyone's. So maybe that's the way these live streams need to go. His story. Obviously, if I when I talk to Flair just started, when I met him trapping. So yeah, it's just kind of something. Need to get a couple like Jeff Dunlap on here and listen to his stories from back in the day too. Come back, 3:30. Come back. Okay, I am going to freeze real quick, guys. Don't go nowhere. I am going to hit him with the link again, but it's going to freeze me at the same time. So just hold on 1 second. I sent him a link. I mean, obviously we went over an hour. So are you guys there? Well, obviously we went over an hour. I never even said. I just figured he would say, "All right, I gotta go," but we never really set a time. We got an hour, so that's pretty dang good. I threw him a link again. If he comes back, if not, it was awesome either way. But I need to find out how he got into YouTube because I've never heard, and apparently Internet Veteran knows more than most. Empty Pockets, what's up, buddy? Thanks for coming in, man. Yeah, next gen. That's what I was thinking too. See, I've done the panels before when I used to use StreamYard, and we've done panels. But now that I've been talking about it since I found out about this YouTube deal, I just haven't had time all summer. And now, the closer we get to trapping, the more anxious I am to start doing this kind of stuff. Oh no, I think he's gone. We'll see. We'll see if he comes back. Michigan Outdoorsman, what's up, buddy? We got Empty Pockets in here. Pest Hunters in the house. Boxy's in here. Mark J. Larson. Scab. We got Next Gen. Al's Outdoors. What's up, buddy? Jeff. At the Nebraska convention, buddy. Here, I wrote it down, but I kind of spaced it off. The NTA is on the 25th and 27th of July, not June. There is a June one. I'm froze right now. How long have I been froze? I froze up when I went to do the thing. Remembering that story. Yeah, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I will be there for sure. It's right up. It's not far from here. That's going to be the closest one I've gotten since we went to Spencer. Yeah, I knew I would freeze when I sent the link. No matter what, when you send the link, automatically you're going to freeze up, and there's no way to fix that. Let me see I'm going to see what buttons I got here. I can add guest, share. Oh, they let me share this out. Let me see. Do not push buttons if you do these. lives. Am I back? Oh God, I was gone, man. I was gone. Hopefully, I'm back. Do not push any buttons. Don't ever touch your phone. I just learned. I was gone, and it took me away. The link was gone. I was gone. I'm like, okay, now I am. How do I get back to the live? So then I thought I was done. I pushed live, and it said resume. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that. I think we lost our man. Dang it. I just wanted to find out what is. But I appreciate you guys asking questions also. I don't know what happened. We're gone. We're MIA. Well, then, yeah, Street Best Hunter. I know that's probably what I need to do. Yeah, I don't know. This works pretty good, but I want to be able to do it on my computer, and I can have my phone to do other things if I need to. Ideally, I could have 330's videos running in the background like on the TV, but I'm not that sophisticated, so it's not happening. I hope not, Midwestern Trapper. Hopefully he's not doing that. I sent him the link again, so we'll see what happens. We'll give it a few, and then I'm gonna eat my supper over here. Yeah, Timothy, I bet it does. So Timothy came here and got some oh fuck before this live stream and dropped this off here. This Windsor, Canadian Windsor. I appreciate it, Tim. And apparently Tim didn't buy enough baits and lures at the convention last Saturday, so he had to get some more. So let's try this again. It's not bad, but it's got a little bite on it. Yeah, you can do StreamYard on the phone, but I'd rather do it on the computer. Yeah, that's my only friend I got. That's my friend. It's Jiminy. There's more than one. Actually, I might see him right there. There's a good chance that I can see him from here. He's annoying, but I didn't notice him until you pointed it out. Lance, I know. More pieces. Yeah, then you can put. I like that you can drop the things down in the bottom, but I think this is easier for people like me because if you send me a link through StreamYards, I have to put in all my information on YouTube, and I don't even know it. I'm basically I'd have to go and find my password, and then I'd have to put it in, and then I would be like, "Yep, I don't know where my password is." I do have a frog. He's in there. I just put him in there yesterday. Yeah, next gen, and he probably didn't even hardly. That's the crazy thing about the sheer number of beaver he's got. It's just crazy that I don't know. I've seen so many pictures. He sends me pictures, and it's like you got to be kidding me. I'm out here struggling in waist deep of mud in a creek bottom, and he's just out there with these beautiful ocean blue runs and crystal clear. It's just completely different. It is definitely awesome. Let's see. Yeah, the metal barrel will work, buddy. I appreciate you dropping me off some barrels. I'm gonna pay you for them though. I've been having a hard time finding barrels with lids, guys, in this area. I can go 70 miles to Omaha, or I can go 70 miles to St. Joseph, Missouri, and they got them, but they're $35 a barrel. Yeah, I don't need barrels that bad, especially when Trapped Up can get. He got the hookup, and he brought me 3 barrels, and I appreciate it, man. So I got all the next gen's tails, and I thought for sure they wouldn't take up that much room, but I filled a barrel, and then I filled another barrel, And I ran out of barrels, and I was like, I got to find some more barrels here. So Midwestern Trapper, and that is a very good thing to say because I I see it. I see it all the time. Guys are like, why can't I catch the numbers that so and so catches when he goes to Kansas? Or you see them pictures with 10 coyotes in a row. First off, I don't know how many people that puts 10 coyote traps on a row. Usually you're setting two. If it's a good sign, you might set three. But I'm pretty good friends with a guy that goes to Kansas, and he hundreds and hundreds. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot of coyotes down in Kansas. I'm basically trapping right here, and I got um, probably 3 packs, I would say, and they intermingle. They kind of cut over on some of my other properties. Yeah, Dominion. Uh, you're gonna help with the garage door. Yeah, I know, but they might not be on that property for a while. It might be 3 to 5 days before they come back around and they hit my property. So they're every night. Apparently in Kansas, they're just every single night running. It's crazy. Not taking away how good you still got to be able to set those traps out there. I mean, obviously, I don't know what kind of sign you got to have that tells you to put 10 traps in a straight line, but it works. Yeah, Jason, that's just true. What's up, buddy?
Dude,
My live stream's over now. You fell over and you
no,
were froze
dude.
like this.
Hopefully, hopefully this works out. Like, I don't know, I got like a battery pack charger here that I was powering my phone with, and it like freaked out on me. And it's like well, here it is. Like, it's for charging cars. It's got 3 things.
Yeah,
Well, you should have seen me. Like, I if I die again, you know what's going on.
I
I
know.
I
I
literally,
said we're gonna give him time. We'll give him time to come back. I froze up my stream trying to send you another link, and then I'm like, oh, I can share this, and I hit share, and it took me away. It's like, boop, I wasn't
dude.
live anymore. I'm like, holy shit! Don't hit the
We're gonna
button. Don't hit the
we're gonna.
button. Okay, let's get this question out there because I was trying. Uh, how did you start a YouTube?
So, everybody else that goes on YouTube looking for trapping and stuff, looking for whatever. I watched a bunch of trapping videos that were, they were not that great. I specifically beaver trapping because I just loved beaver trap, and I'd watch some of these videos and people would be like, "Hey, I'm here trapping beaver, and I'm going to set a trap right here," but they didn't do the angle where you can see what's going on, and they didn't explain like why they're setting a trap here. They would just, you'd see them the sideways, from 20 feet away, and then they're like, "All right, we set a trap in a beaver run." Okay, well then next day they would pull the beaver out and say, "Hey, look at, I caught a beaver," and that's pretty much what it was. And I thought to myself, like, man, like, why don't you tell people why you're setting it there? Tell them specifically, hey, there's an entrance to the lodge here, and I'm going to put these sticks in, and I'm going to do this and that, or they're feeding back here, or this would be a great place for a caster mound, or just whatever. And I told myself, you know what? I could probably make a better trapping video than that. Like, and yeah. So then one day, I got, and I the first time I made a trapping video, I thought, lengths. Like, I need the most epic trapping video ever. So I make
Making
one that's
movies.
like 2 hours long. I'm like, it's like, whoa, that was way too long. People want much shorter, you know, videos than this. Yeah. So yeah, so I started making videos, and then I remember a company saying, "Hey, we want to pay you for your videos." do you want to do this? And so I signed a contract with this company, and it was great because they wouldn't pay you out unless you hit $50. So
Yep.
every 2 months I'd get a check in the mail for like $51, $52. And it was like the best thing ever.
You're like,
You
look
know,
at that, I'm making it.
I'm making it. Oh my gosh.
So much different than
Pretty
right
much, yeah.
now. Then you're saying
Only
it's
only
$100
now I don't have to worry
now.
about getting a check. Okay, I'm holding steady at 2%. We'll see what happens here.
Oh my God. Hey, well, right now I'm gonna go ahead and I appreciate you doing this. And if you ever want to hop on and just bullshit again, let me know, just in case you disappear.
No,
Well, even though I got
absolutely,
your
dude. It was great. I should shoot a live from the boat, and you can
there
jump
you go.
in.
No,
I'll
yeah, I know where you're going with
I'll get a
that.
cardboard
Like,
cutout.
hold on, Jay. Hold on, Jay. This is gonna be a 40-incher. Hold
I'll get
on.
a cardboard cutout of you and put it in the boat, so that way
There
you
you
can
go.
be with me in spirit.
Oh God.
Oh,
Man, where'd you find the snacks at?
dude, you like my phone died. I'm like, or just cut out, and my phone reset. I'm like, what's going on? All of a sudden, it said 0% battery. I'm like, how? I have this expensive battery pack that
Yeah.
didn't work. And then I'm looking. I'm MacGyvered. Like, you should see this. Like, I have like a 6-inch long C by C cord plugged into a block that I found randomly, because this used to be my office, and they moved the office out to somewhere else, but I left all my mounts and stuff here. So if I shoot a live, I come out here. Well, then, I literally have a cord that's 10 inches long. Well, where are you going to plug that into while it charges? So I went downstairs in the shop, stole like a 50-foot extension cord laying all over the
Oh my
floor in the office here. Like, this was some serious rigging going on.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
funny. I'm not gonna judge anybody, but see, I knew this was going on at 6, so I made sure my phone was charged.
I just got off of work, and I was watching videos all day long at work. So,
Yep.
oh,
Let's see.
hey, you're welcome, man. I enjoy people watching, and I really enjoy when people say, "Hey," I'll get some comments on my videos, and somebody will say, "Hey, you know what? I just started trapping beaver this year, and with your technique, I picked up a dozen beaver this year. Just and I use it just like you said, and it worked." Like, that's just hearing
Yep.
that is like your job is done. Getting more trappers out there, because there's less and less of us every year. And
Yep.
traditionally, people look at it when they think trapper, they think of an 80-year-old guy. That you know,
You you don't think of a college kid with his furs hanging in his college dorm when you
most
think
people.
trapper?
Yeah, most people don't think about that
Next year,
nowadays. You know.
last night was in his dorm. He has fur hanging in there, which is awesome. I had some guys at work go, they let him have fur? I mean, they should. I mean, I don't see why it's bad.
Well, as long as
So,
it can.
yeah. Maybe he can do some videos skinning some raccoons in his dorm room.
Oh, let's see
I had
here.
a I had a question, but I just completely spaced it off.
I messed it all up when I cut off our live.
Yeah. No, the reason for starting a YouTube was a pretty big one. Um, I keep looking at this one about trapped up snagging the ice. I think pretty much covered a lot of stuff. I just like hearing the stories from back in the day, trapping black
And
beaver.
it's a lot of fun. Like, if I want to think about a memorable time, especially not only my trapping but my fishing. If I want to look back at my, I got my. Here, I'll show it. You can see grab 2 feet of my extension cord, but there's my. You see my 44.5-inch pike from Devil's Lake up there.
Oh yeah, you would show that.
Oh yeah.
You see mine?
Oh,
I don't
oh,
have one because I can't even catch a 30-incher. You know?
yeah. But I mean, I can go back, and watch that video on YouTube. Just going back, and it's not no longer you're not just thinking about that great memory that you might have got on film, but you can go back and relive it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
or certain catches, where you get a big beaver, or like you're talking about, you find this perfect beaver lodge that has runs that are open for 20 feet, and you just dream about setting something up like that.
Next gen wants to know stay on beavers like they do raccoons.
Well, my biggest catch day, I caught 28 beaver. Um, that was a fun fact in my wife's Chrysler New Yorker. I
That's
had
crazy.
her New Yorker
Yeah.
loaded, like that thing was so overweight. The trunk was full of beaver, the back seat was full of beaver, and I caught those beaver, called my fur buyer, and said, "Hey, I caught 28 beaver today," and which is, I think, my second biggest catch, since then is like 19 maybe or 18. But I drove to Fergus Falls to sell these beaver. I got about 2 miles outside of Fergus Falls, and I got pulled over by the state patrol. And they're like, "What is wrong with your car?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" They're like, it is like the bumper's like 4 inches from the road. And I said, "I got the trunk's full of beaver." And he paused. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I trap." I said, "And the trunk's full of beaver." He's like, "Open the trunk." Open the trunk. And I literally had to slam that thing shut. There was so many beaver in the trunk. And he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Fergus." He said, "Where are you coming from?" I said, "Detroit Lakes." He said, "If you were a few miles closer to DL, I would have made you turn around." He said, "Don't
Really.
try that again."
I'll
Yeah,
see you next weekend, sir. On next Saturday,
I,
won't stay out of this
oh,
area.
yep,
So
twenty beaver.
internet veteran says, didn't you find your old man's trap years after he lost it?
Mm,
Internet veteran, where you come up with all your shit at?
no, not that I can. I have found a handful of traps before. Um, I found a Belial 330 one time in the bottom of a beaver run that had been there for quite a few years. Um,
No, no triggers or anything on
it still had triggers on it,
it.
but it was pretty rusted. I actually still have it and still use it.
Yeah,
I found a Duke #4 buried in the mud one time. I actually tried to get a hold of Trapper, and he'd passed away a few years back.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? You know what, intern, you are right. He's right. I'm just thinking about situations. There was a public lake literally just down the road from this, like a mile, that I used to trap with my dad. And there was a run on the back side of the beaver house that he always had a trap in. Well, he passed away in 1997, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But in maybe 2002, 2004, somewhere around there, I'm trapping beaver at this beaver lodge, and there happens to be right in the back of the lodge where there was a beaver run at. There's a big, tall stake sticking out of the mud, and I'm like, or out of the ice. I'm like, God, I'm like, that's got to be this, because I remember this stick very clearly how long it was. And I'm like, oh, it has to be one of the old sticks. So I chop around it and I start pulling on it, and it's barely moving, and I'm pulling and I'm pulling, and the mud's just like chugging and chugging. I'm like, what the heck? All of a sudden I pull it out, and there's a Duke 330 on
Really?
this
That's
pole.
crazy.
Still had my dad's tag on it.
That's
And
crazy.
the really crazy part was it was down in the mud, so it didn't rust. It just sat in there, and it came out almost looking like it just came out of a box of traps. Like it was silver.
Really?
I ended up taking it off the pole, putting one of my tags on it. I reset it in the beaver lodge and caught a beaver in that trap the next day.
Damn. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I would I might have had to put it on the wall, I think. I don't know. Somehow mark it, I guess.
What's that?
I would have probably had to try to mark it so I knew which one it was.
Yeah, I actually I probably should have.
Of course, I'm sure there's a lot of them though in your stack.
Most of them, are new. I have, I'd say that one of his, I have it in my storage unit because
Yep.
it's since the springs have weakened on it, and I don't know, I don't replace springs. I just replace the traps.
Yep. Let's see. Jeff says, I'm glad y'all put out YouTube videos. It takes a lot of time. There's a ton of people out there that enjoy watching. And the only reason I started watching YouTube. I appreciate
Yeah,
that,
me too,
man.
man. I enjoy. It's fun making those videos. Especially if you have a good catch. And as you know, Trapper Jay, there's some work involved in it. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of editing. I need to probably spread my videos out and be more on a schedule like everyone else is, but I don't. I just get it done and hit upload and throw it out there. But I mean,
Oh,
I don't have any schedule at all.
I usually, like, even my videos now, I upload at 6 o'clock. Whenever, any night that I do, it's always at 6 p.m.
As of right now, this live doing these lives like we're doing right now, I'd like to try to do one every Wednesday. But if Dunlap goes, I can go right now, then I'm obviously just going to go live, or someone like that. But
Sure.
I don't have much of a schedule. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next Wednesday. I hardly know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. You never know what you're doing,
Absolutely.
So,
Um,
someone wants to know how many traps you have. That's
um,
I could never answer that one. I mean,
I don't know for sure. I would say I probably have between 40 and 50 beaver traps. That's footholds included. I think I got about. Well, I think I got about 35 330s, and so probably 50, because then I have probably 15 or so footholds.
yeah,
Um, other than like muskrat traps and other traps, I have a bunch of tubs of traps in my storage unit that I really haven't touched in a while. That I just weird stuff like a number 2 long spring. I don't really have any use for it because I don't know. I mean, if I'm trapping rats or something, I like to use it. I got a bunch of stop loss, and I really like those Victor #1 jumps. So things are the cutest little trap ever. Shove them inside a push up, with like 2 feet of wire on them. Muskrat crawls up in there, gets it caught in his foot. He's down that drowning hole in 2 seconds, and
yeah.
yeah.
Well, hopefully, I'll get to see you running a snare line one of these seasons.
I'm gonna
One of
do
these
it.
seasons. If they ever say, "Hey, we'll let non-residents trap," I'll come up there and I'll spend 30 days just to
Oh my
see.
gosh,
And
that'd be great.
I'll have to live in a shelter, but at least I can come up there for 30 days.
Well, we'll trap beaver for the first week and skin them out, and then we'll dump all the carcasses in a swamp and make a bait pile.
There you go. You could make a hell of a bait pile.
Mm-hmm. Then we'll wait another week and a half and just set like 100 snares around it, back
Yep.
off of the way.
How about you get that ready, and then when I get up there, it'll be good and go. You do all that work. You do all the homework, and then I'll come up there and we'll run snares.
Uh,
That'd be awesome.
let's see here. While we're in the trap videos, but can always go back to see my memories on YouTube. Mark, yeah, that's like I said.
Oh my! What's up with the internet veteran? I feel like he's been like poking through, had a camera in your apartment for your whole life.
Mhm.
See his comment?
Tell the story when you were skinning and got pulled over on your way home with blood all over you. Yeah, got to be somebody I know. I feel.
Internet veteran is a regular here,
Uh,
but I thought he was up in Jersey or something.
uh,
He's fine.
yeah,
I think he's with the fuzz. He's with the fuzz. He has to be.
uh, got my
He's
got it.
he's
My
got intel. You got intel on all of us.
my apartment is tapped, but I'll tell that story since we're here. So being a beaver trapper, my one guy, I don't know if anybody that's around here. There's a guy named Larry Runnigan that he was my fur buyer. He's just a beast of a man. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know that he's like you, Trapper Jay. He's just a big, huge guy, but he's got this like full hair of long white hair and a beard about this big, this white, and his
Oh,
glasses
geez.
and his little eyes, and
Yeah.
he's just he's a big guy. Anyway, so in the springtime when I'm trapping beaver, I was going up there and I was skinning beaver for him. He paid me $1.50 a beaver, or he paid me $2 a beaver. And if I started at like 5 a.m. and skinned till 9 p.m., I could skin like 150 a day. So I mean, $300 in cash at that time was, well, even now is really nice, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, one time I'm headed home from Fergus Falls in my '86 S10, and I get pulled over. I got a taillight or something out, and I just remember I wash my hands. But if you skin, and I never wore gloves skinning beaver, never ever ever. So my hands, my nails, everything were just solid cake blood, dried blood about a quarter-inch thick all the way down my arms. My shirt, my pants were just a crust of solid blood. So this guy comes up and I can see his flashlight, and I got my hands on the steering wheel, and then he like stops with like his flashlight on my fingers, and
Oh,
then
God.
he
I need
starts like
backup.
yeah, he starts coming up like really slow, you
Yeah.
know, and he has his hand on his like firearm, and he's like, "Where is all the blood from?" I said I skinned beaver for Larry Runnigan in Fergus Falls. He's like, "Who's that? What are you talking about?" I said the fur buyer in Fergus Falls buys beaver in the springtime, and he pays me and I skin them, and then I drive back to DL. And he's like, "So this is all from blood from beaver or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You can call him if you want." And after I kind of explained it to him, he was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I was
You're not
really
a
worried there when
There's a
I was
massacre
really worried."
somewhere.
Yep, yep. I even one time in my wife's car, that New Yorker, I had blood all over the trunk. And somebody called me in one time because I had blood pouring down the back of the trunk. It was a white car.
Oh, God.
So the police pulled me over and were like, "What's up with the blood?" And I said, "I'll show you." So I popped the trunk and showed them. And then they were like, "Oh, okay."
Get a truck.
Oh,
So, speaking of skinning for money, I know a feller that needs someone to skin 2,000 raccoons. If you're down, he's hiring. He's in the chat right now.
skinning raccoons is like a guessing game.
could you?
You can just
Could you?
put your knife in all the fat and
Yeah. You could go spend 2 weeks in November just skinning raccoon after raccoon. Get all your fill on skinning.
mm,
He says, "I need all the help I can get."
mm, mm. Trapped up. Where did you learn how to set that double snare set on a stick for beavers?
Oh, yeah, that's a
Well,
good question. Where'd you see that at?
well, I read about a set in Fur Fishing Game one time where it wasn't quite just like that. Um, they had taken like a live tree and put it down under the ice and put like one snare on it. And then I thought to myself, well, I don't want to do that because they're gonna chew your tree right off. So
Yeah.
then I put a bundle on a dead tree and said, "Hey, I'm gonna put a snare on both sides because they're gonna swim around this tree." And yeah, so a lot of it was just trial and error. I did learn some stuff from my dad a little bit, and some stuff from Fur Fishing Game, and being on. If you guys remember, or wherever on it, there still is it. There's a web page called Trapper Man. Back literally in the 90s, like 98, 99, 2000, I was on there and used to look at articles and pictures and stuff. And actually I'd probably go back there and look. I mean, I know I got pictures from 25 years ago still on there, which is kind of neat.
That's where I find out who's all talking shit about me is I go over to Trapper Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I should go. Mhm.
No, I don't see anything bad about you, but there might be some stuff about them guys that catch all them raccoons over there in Iowa. You know how people are.
Oh,
That
yeah.
it's been known for that over there. But
I
anyways, I interrupted your story, but
oh, yeah. Um, shit, what was it? Well, I mean, crap, what was the story again?
snares on a
Oh, yeah.
pole.
So there were some beaver houses I was trapping that the feed pile was directly over the run, so I couldn't get a 330 in the run anywhere. So I
Yep.
put in a couple of these snare pole sets and yeah, connected on a few beaver and decided it was a good way to go.
See you, pest hunter. So I've wanted to do. I've seen it like on Alaska shows and stuff where they drop the pole in there, but they'll have some snares going this way and this way. I think if I stuck that in the ground and I caught one beaver, it'd be a big mess, and it'd look like my cable restraints in the back of my truck.
Yeah,
Oh, big ball.
that's my thoughts. I've seen people where they'll stack, 2, 4, 6, 8 of them even on a pole,
Yeah.
and I've seen it, and I've done it myself where I've put 4 snares on a pole and I do a double set. If it's deep water, like 6, 7, 8 feet, I'll do one, and then what I'll do is once I put my snares on there, I'll take a piece of wire, like heavier wire, I'll go around that tree and I'll twist it so those snares can't move. If you get a beaver in there, even if they struggle, that snare doesn't move. Well, I've caught doubles because the beaver get caught in the snare and they only cinch that snare down, 4, 5, 6 inches until they can't, you know, and then they can't, there's not enough length for them to get down to wreck the other set.
Yeah. That
But
makes
I have had, but it's not too seldom I find that opportunity unless it's like a deeper fishing lake or something.
Yeah. I mean, if I was up in Alaska and was needing food, the amount of snares would be tangled up would not matter. But I
No,
just like it's going to be a mess, though. So I have put 330s on a pole like that and dropped them in, around a feed pile, and gotten
sure.
lucky. Put a little bit of poplar or something on the triggers, but
Yep, that's good.
usually I'm trapping similar to the bank dens or runs. But
Can't find them or whatever, or for whatever reason you try something or try that.
I mean, a lot of times you can see where the beavers spend a lot of time out there chewing on their feed beds. So you're like,
Hmm.
oh, and there's got to be, I got to get one right here.
There's got it,
Well,
actually, absolutely.
we
I
don't have
ran.
shallow in front of our huts, though. It's usually really deep.
Oh, really?
It's almost always deep in most of my areas, unless you knock the dam out, but then it kind of disrupts everything.
Sure. No, as you've seen, we get some deep lodges, but I'm pretty fortunate with, well, and low water years like this, trapping's going to be so easy because a lot of these runs, um, and the water's down 2 feet.
Yeah.
And if it's an existing lodge, the beavers don't dig that run any deeper. They just keep using it, and instead of it being 3.5 feet deep, now it's going to be 1.5 foot deep.
It seems like they dig it more here. Like you can find it by falling in the dam runs here. Usually, they're usually deep. But next gen said you can ride if you want to see raccoons. You're more than welcome to run on his line.
I would,
We have a lot of raccoons.
I
So
would love to go do that. I'd love to run with one of you guys on your lines.
I know. So we're
I
so far
never,
away. We're all so
it
far
is.
away from each other.
I just never get the chance to run around as much as I'd like. And the little bit of time I get to to go do something
Yeah.
is always, I take my fishing trip, to Devil's Lake or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and we got to do that this year. You come up, we're going to Devil's Lake,
Yeah, you've
and
been talking about that for a long time. Devil's
mhm.
Lake. Just always something wrong with the ice or something. So
Yep,
hopefully it's
this year I
really
think it was the snow was ridiculously deep.
yeah. And some places weren't frozen right. I don't think the one time I was up there.
Sure.
It's probably going to be about the same. I think we'll shoot for early ice this year. You always talk about how good the fishing is early ice, and then that
Always.
Christmas, and then obviously around my birthday. I'll just go ahead and make that a. Unless you're out doing a tournament or something, I don't want
No,
to
no
interfere.
tournaments in the wintertime.
Yeah,
It's all
really,
summertime stuff. Yep.
really. Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I need to just get me a place up there.
Gotta
I
talk
can
to your
stay up
boss.
there. I know.
Mm.
Al's Outdoors. If you get time, 3:30, you need to go check out Al's Outdoors sometime. He walks miles and miles through the West Virginia woods for bobcats and coyotes, and I watched one video. It just seemed like it was just nonstop walking. But however we got to do it, we got to do it. But I just
Yeah.
been a lot of walking.
Like I said, when I was 21, 22, 25, 27, I would walk a long ways to trap beaver house.
Yeah.
And now, if there's a foot of snow, I just, can't do it.
Yeah. Just catch it when there's not a foot of snow. You
Yeah,
know
well,
where it's at.
and the biggest problem with all the snow is it's not that it's hard to walk around that snow. It's you get to the beaver house and the snow is drifted in 3-4 feet around the lodge.
Yeah.
So it makes it impossible to dig down to these runs.
I remember the first time I came up there, we shoveled forever. You
Yeah.
can hardly see the hut. You're like, I know it's
Nope.
right here. And we're just shoveling big holes. I got pictures of us down in the holes standing on the ice.
Oh, great.
Uh, he says I'm only 21, but all within 20 feet of the truck. LOL.
Oh, I hear you. Hey,
So when did your season end up there? I don't know if I've ever paid attention. I know that you're trapping. You start trapping sometimes when we're long done. It seems like.
yeah, well, so no, like November 1st is when trapping opens, muskrat, beaver, all that business. I can't remember when muskrat season closes because when it closes, we're not trapping them anyway. It's
Yeah.
a lot of the huts are froze up and they're so far under a snowdrift you can't even see them. But beaver trapping closes on May 15th. Traditionally, I trap beaver about April 1st to maybe April 20th.
Okay.
Now this year, the ice stayed for a month later than normal.
Yep.
So
So
I trapped for a week.
you're packing that whole season in that 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sometime.
And it was
I
like,
know you
in this
do.
year, it was like a week.
Yeah, you do. You usually do. I mean, you usually do a little bit of winter trapping, but I remember not this last spring, but the spring before, you just hammered them like your storage unit was full of beaver.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're
I
pulling
was,
those. You're pulling them late April. Yeah.
yep. Soon as the ice opens up, or and not even that. As soon as a pond can open up around a beaver lodge and around the dam, anything like that,
Yeah.
I can start hammering them open water. And that's, it's just springtime is definitely my favorite time to trap beaver.
But
Castor
people
mounds are
ask
just
you,
so productive.
how many you get a year, but your year is just a couple weeks, maybe a month. And
Well,
other than that, you're fishing a lot of the time
I
now.
do. I do love to fish. Once the snow gets too deep, like usually around the first of the year, trapping goes in the crapper
Yeah.
for until springtime. But then I look forward to it so much.
Yeah.
So this year when the snow wasn't going away and stuff wasn't melting, I'm like, man, this is not good.
We had to walk through some pretty deep snow when you took us out.
We did.
We were trying to walk where the snowmobiles had already been. Yeah. We basically, Trapped Up was pretty good at pulling the sled. I failed. I was too busy filming. So
Was it you or Trapped Up that rode the sled down the hill?
I think that was Trapped Up.
I think it was.
I can't remember now. I'd have to go back and look at the video.
Remember? Yeah, it was at that one pond.
Yeah, that was Trapped Up. Trapped Up thought he would slide down, but it was too deep. So,
It was like a 10-foot slide. That's about it.
there's your question from Trapped Up.
Oh,
If you had to choose one, fishing or trapping beaver. Oh man.
Mm. Mm.
But he should have made it ice fishing or beaver trapping. As we know, in the summertime, I don't even. Do you even work in the summer? Seems like you send me pictures every day. You just
Been,
fish after work every night. God.
been working quite a
Huh.
bit.
Yeah.
I got well 2 weeks, so I've got 90 hours into my last paycheck.
Damn. Still sending me pictures of fish
Mm-hmm.
or posting on Facebook.
Another month, I'll be laid off. So
I'm just out here catching a perch and being like, "Look at me! I'm in Minnesota, but I'm really not. I got some rogue perch down
that
here.
looked like
I
that
feel
was a
like
nice perch too.
trapped up, snuck it. Trapped up must have stuck it in his luggage or something and threw it in my spot. I don't know where it came from. 10-incher. So,
That was a nice perch.
so if I buy, I'm buying like 10 pike next month. If am I going to be able to tell the females from the males just by looking at them at they're right around 12 to 15 inches long. You just look for the big belly.
If I remember right, there's like right where the butthole is, pretty much. There's like there's
I
like
do.
a, there's like
I do.
there's like two different holes there or something. I
Oh
think it
God.
is.
Oh God. Is that how? Okay. And now I just feel like I'm going to be making a video. 330 said, look for the one with two holes, and that's going to be the one. This ain't the one. And I'll be
Just
like, none of them
never
have two
holding it up to the
holes.
camera. Look at it.
None of
Look
them
at the
have
two
two
holes.
holes. This ain't right. There ain't two
Oh
holes on this one.
my God, I love it.
I can't obviously have 10 pike in my pond. So I got a couple spots I'm going to throw some. But I need to keep one female because the female is supposedly the ones that get the biggest. So I don't want no
Okay, yeah,
scrawny,
yeah.
scrawny male. I need to keep a female, and that's gonna be my only fish in the pond after it hits about 24 inches. I won't even be able to keep nothing in there.
So trapped up, I enjoy
Yeah.
trapping more than I do ice fishing. I do. I always have. But I can only trapping I can only do for a couple months at a shot because the snow gets so deep. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't decide.
Uh, Bobby Sands says he's waiting on that Tulubi vid. Hey, what's that? What's that lake where all the Tulubi are caught? You know that make believe lake that you always talk about. Every
Well,
time
Lake
you
X,
make a video, you say, "I'm over here at this lake."
Lake X.
I didn't know. I didn't know if Toolby would be fun, but it actually ended up being a pretty damn good time.
That was fun. We went up there and leech. That was tough though. We really had to chase them around.
Yeah,
You'd be
we
sitting
did.
there, you'd be sitting there jigging, and you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh no, there's one right there. He's right on the stuff, and you're jigging and doing
Oh
this and that. And all of a
God!
sudden, boom, it's on there.
Oh man! I don't know if my jigging looked like that or not. That seemed kind of scary the way you just jigged that.
It looked very professional. What's 3:30 snack or live stream snack of choice? Giant dill pickle pistachios.
Oh, my wife snuck in here when we were live and brought me Wendy's. So I got this gigantic thing of Wendy's
Well, guess
nuggets.
what? I found these in the back seat of my truck in a bag that's been there for 3 months.
Oh no, they still taste just right, just fine.
Not as good as Wendy's, I'll bet.
Well, I was running behind. Uh-oh. Oh, I froze up. I'm down to
Oh,
10%.
oh, there you are.
I was running behind and I brought home a load of gravel and somebody broke the door off of the dump trailer and didn't tell nobody. So here I am out here at 540 welding. And I'm like, shit, I better eat something before I do this live stream.
Oh yeah.
I was obviously got home early and then I still was running behind.
Oh, Jeff Futures, do you do construction 3:30? I do not. I do landscaping and lawn irrigation. and it's
You know
hard
what
to
I
put
do?
sprinklers in when it freezes out.
I always cut the irrigation. So I'd be your worst nightmare, or I would get you more work.
Job security, bud.
When I'm putting docks in, we have to take out the old dock, and I just cut the line. And I'm like,
Oh.
yep, they'll have to call somebody to come fix it. Because they always run the irrigation out through the ramp of the dock,
Yep.
and then it's hanging off the back of the dock usually.
Mm-hmm.
No, Midwestern Trapper wants to hear the story on that beautiful buck up here on the wall. Probably that one with all them points on it, right directly. Yeah,
This one up here,
yeah.
that deer right there.
Oh God, look at that other one. He's sexy too. That's a big sunbed.
Let's see here. We're all up to 4% on our battery, so we'll go up here and look. Here's my. Where is it? There he is, right there.
Oh God, yeah.
That one. So
Yep.
that one scored.
No,
That one scores 178 and an eighth. This one here scores one. This one here isn't mine. This one here scores 158 something. It's got 16-inch G shoes on it.
yeah, yeah. I like that. What's that one doing there? Just itching its back or something? The one in the
Oh
corner?
no, they
It's a fucking shark on the wall,
oh yeah.
or are they locked up? Is that one too locked up? I can't
No,
tell.
they actually added the second set of antlers.
Oh, I see it. I see it now.
I
Yeah.
got this 8-pointer
I didn't
here.
know.
I got then the other corner here. This one here isn't mine. I got this 10-pointer here, shot with my bow. This is that one I got on video a couple of years ago. With the big,
That's nice.
nobody ever sees like the palmation on the rack.
I like that. That's thick.
But yeah, it was super thick. And then this guy here isn't mine, and then this one here is mine.
Awesome.
But
See,
also,
house on the lake
well,
with
so
a guest cabin off the back.
and I'll just live in the guest cabin. Wait, no, you'll live there. So I'll tell a quick story here after I plug this back in. There we go. Still at 4%. Sweet. This big one back here, I shot. It was like I said, it was the first deer I ever shot in my whole life. So I got spoiled and lucky and everything all at the same time.
Yeah.
I was hunting with my brother and dad, and my brother had never shot a deer either before. So we're hunting on 40 acres of farmland that my dad gained permission on. And my dad says, "You sit here." I got this old bolt action 30-30 open sights. He says, "If anything comes out at all, you shoot it." Okay. Well, then he said, "Me and your brother are going to go up here on the top of this hill." He said they usually shoot and do some drives across the road and push deer across the bean field. So, okay. So I'm out there. All of a sudden, I hear a couple of gunshots, like at the far end of the field, and I look, and in the distance, about 200 yards away, I can see a group of like 9 deer running from that direction down this bean field. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to come right by me. And they're about 150 yards away from me broadside. And I see the deer. Boom, I shoot my first shot. The whole herd takes off. Shoot a second shot, shoot a third shot, and one of the deer drops. And I was super pumped. My brother and dad come through the woods maybe 10 minutes later, and they're like, "What happened? What were you shooting at?" And I'm like, "I dropped a giant doe down there, like a sack of potatoes." Like, super pumped because I'd shot a deer before my brother had, and he's like 4 years older than me. And he was super jealous. And we're walking down there. There's like 2 feet of snow, mind you. And we're getting down there. My dad's like, "I thought you said you shot a doe." I'm like, "Well, I think it was a doe unless it has some horns." I'm like, "I don't know. I was just kind of just shooting at them." We get down there, and this thing is laying in the snow.
Oh Jesus!
My brother was so angry, he walks up to it and shoots it at point blank range, like right here in the face.
Oh damn!
My dad smacks the crap out of him for doing it. So gets kind of entertaining. So he's like, "Hey, I'm going to go get the truck. I want you to gut this deer and drag it up the road, and Scotty can carry the guns behind you. He's like, all right, whatever. So my dad goes to get the truck, and he guts this deer. And my dad's sitting up by the road. We got to drag it across the plowed bean field. And anyway, my brother's dragging this deer in front of me, and he's like 40 yards ahead of me. And he's like, come on, calling me all kinds of names. You can't keep up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, come on, wait up, Joe. And he's like, calling me names. All of a sudden, we hear some gunshots across the road. Here, across the road comes another giant buck, like running like right at us. My brother drops the deer, turns around. He's like, give me my gun. I turn around and start running. Not a good idea. But I start running with the guns away from him. And I start calling him the same names he's calling me.
Oh my God.
Like, you can't keep up. He finally catches me, beats the crap out of me. Then my dad gets over there and smacks us both around for whatever. Well, then he asked me why I ran with the guns, and I told him exactly what my brother did to me. And my brother was angry, and my dad's like, well, sounds like you had it coming. So, yeah. And then ended up, it scored. It scores 178 and an eighth.
It looks really nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I actually had it remounted.
It's a pretty big doe you got there.
Yeah, right? The old antlered doe.
Yeah.
And so we brought that deer back to camp because we always stayed at this deer camp. And where we stayed at this deer camp, this guy was really good friends with my dad, but he was a trophy hunter. He only wanted to shoot big bucks.
Yeah.
Well, he had never shot anything even close to that. Well, him and my dad got in an argument because he literally did not believe that I shot that deer.
Yeah.
He believed that somebody else wanted, my dad or somebody had shot it, and they were just saying that. Yeah. So crazy, but my dad, they were friends for like 30 years, and we left the deer camp. My dad never talked to him again.
Really? Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that same brother is the country singer?
No, that's the one that this brother passed away about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep. My brother, the country singer, he just started deer hunting here about 3 years ago because he married a country girl.
Nice. That's what it takes sometimes.
That's what it took. He messaged me one day and said, bro, you got to teach me how to deer hunt. I'm marrying this hot country girl. I'm like, oh boy.
So, did you ever get your intro worked out? I haven't paid attention.
I never.
Because YouTube's screwing you on your YouTube all of a sudden?
So I finally, like I got a hold of those people, and they said, hey, you can use this music track on your videos up until the date that Full Screen Productions folded, which was the company I had permission through to use that song. Well, they folded in 2021. So any video after 2021, I had to remove the video or this music.
It's the best intro I've always said it's the best intro on YouTube.
I love that I love the music, but I can't use it anymore. They wanted, they were literally, what should I call it? When I got a hold of them, like those people, they said, hey, put you on a whitelist. We're not going to copyright you anymore on these videos. I was getting copyrighted for like a month straight. So then finally I went to YouTube and I said, hey, this is wrong. Like I have emails proving that I have the rights to this video. It was like a day later that company got a hold of me and they're like, oh, hey, you're right. You do have rights to it. But if you want to use that track, you're going to have to purchase it. So I said, yeah, like, what do I got to do to purchase that track? I'm like, I just want to use that one track on my intros, and they're like, are you talking like per year or like lifetime? I'm like, what's it going to cost for like lifetime? And they said something like, well, we'll let you use that one track for lifetime for a one-time fee of like $4,000.
Jesus.
And I'm like, are you out of your minds? They're like, or we can do a yearly fee of like $1,500. I'm like, for one song. And they knew what they were doing. I said I can get a 1-year subscription to Epidemic Sounds for $120 and have access to 100,000 songs. They're like, yeah, well, this is the one you want, and either
Yeah.
you pay up or you don't get it. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't need it that bad. So I removed the music and I put different music to my intro, and it just didn't sound right. So I quit putting my intro on there. I just used my little intro with my buddy Mike's
Yep.
fishing thing
Great
on
job.
there.
Yeah, it
So
sucks, man. That really sucks.
yeah,
No, maybe you'll find a song that hits one of
it
these
might,
days.
I'll go through, and that's what I did. I bought a year subscription to Epidemic Sounds for $120, and I hop on there and listen to the intro, whatever music, and
Yeah.
that's what I got to do. I got to just try to find something that hit, feels right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been saying it for years that was the best one out there.
A lot of people commenting on the video, who wrote that intro or what song is that? And forever, I didn't even know until I got a copyright strike on it. And they're like,
Yeah, you're like, I don't know.
great.
Well, now YouTube wants to charge you per use of songs in their Creative Studio. I go in there and it's like $14 for use it one time.
Yeah, that's
I can't
why.
I can't trust it's kind of the same thing you got going on. I can't go to a third party and then risk them changing their mind and then suddenly all my because I still get copyrighted
Yeah,
occasionally for old
I
videos. Uh,
I found out that like with this Epidemic Sound, any music I use, on that, I can only use for a year, and then after a year, I can't use it anymore unless I get another year.
yeah. So then you
You
got to
know.
keep getting another year if you use
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
I
But
just stopped using.
if I decide to quit using it, the when I the sub or the year that I had, the subscription for is okay. Like they can't copyright me for that use because I had a contract for that year. But
Yeah,
like anything else, a day past your contract, if you don't re-up, then they can nick you for anything after that.
it's just a big pain in the ass. But you can go on Instagram and use any song you want.
Yeah.
We only need it for 20 seconds or 25 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Past that, then your people are bailing out if you go past 25 seconds in your intro.
Yeah. I think
Or
mine.
fast forwarding. But I don't know.
Let's see here. I'll run through all these. I haven't even looked at the comments lately. Seen people using that from pulling arrows out. Da, 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 da. Some of them were nice whitetails. Must have been killed before we were invaded by the wolves. Pretty much. Came around south side of Mille Lacs. Not sure how much further south they've gotten. You got wolves in your area. 330 next gen. We got a lot of timber wolves. A lot of them. I've had people that have deer camps 10 miles down the road, like beg me to come trap wolves, and I'm like, I can't. And they're like, what if, you know, $2,000 just appeared in your glove box one day, you know? And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna even risk anything like that.
Oh,
So I gotta wait
you
for
don't have the season there?
don't don't have a season anymore. They're
Really?
trying to open it back up. I would sure love to, you know.
That's one
Um,
thing I need. I want to get is a wolf belt on my wall.
if it opens back up, like I said, I know some guys out here. Well, I went out and set some beaver traps one day, and it's called the Smoky Hill State Forest. I set some beaver traps out there one day around this small bog lodge, and I didn't get anything. But the next day when I went there, a whole pack of wolves had went to that beaver house. There was mud laying everywhere. They tried to dig
Dig
into that
into it.
beaver lodge, like, and the footprints were just huge. And then I went back in the springtime, you know, whatever spring beaver trapping, and I put in two drowning sets, three or drowning rod sets, put in caster mounds, and I got both of those beaver. Um, and the wolves that actually you could see where they were literally like pawing in the water to try to get to the beaver, but It was a dam that was like straight down. So I got 10-foot drowning rods, and it must have been 6 feet of water.
Yeah.
So they couldn't quite get to it. But if they do add a season back, that beaver dam is going to get about a dozen snares hung on it because it is the best funnel. It's the only beaver dam within like a mile of there where these wolves can cross this river.
That sounds perfect. You
So
get a little bit of everything on that thing.
planning for the future.
Just go put
Yeah.
a camera on it like that. Some of those people do, and a whole year's worth of pictures on this beaver dam.
Oh, that'd be a fun idea. And the guy that has me trapping out there, Beaver, has sent me lots of trail cam pictures of the wolves. I think last winter was a pack of like 7. You know,
Really?
yeah. And they're frustrated because they bought this, and it's great deer hunting land. And what happened was they bought all this deer hunting land. They put in thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. They have like 20 cell cams with big muddy, the muddy blind, and like a dozen food plots. And like the first couple of years, they shot some really solid like Minnesota bucks out there. Then the wolves moved in, and now it's like a spike here, some does there.
All gone.
Yep,
Man.
all gone.
And they can't do nothing about it.
Nope, they're DNR's like, sorry. That's why they're like, could you maybe just make them disappear? I'm like, hell no.
Yeah. Well, as soon as that law passes or whatever, where you can trap wolves again,
Yeah,
they'll
I
hammer 'em.
I've lost a handful of traps to wolves. Springtime beaver trapping, or I mean, could be a bear. Like one I got there, I got a 40-inch T-bar steak with the cable around the top. I got there and the steak was pulled out about 12 inches and it was bent at a 45.
Really? Jeez.
And there was nothing but like part of the head and the front feet in there. Another one, the beaver it was weird. The beaver was in there, but the back legs were eaten, and then it was like a midsection catch on a medium-sized beaver.
Yeah.
But right here behind the head was a spot about the size of a soccer ball or so. The fur was gone totally to the skin, and there were just big holes where something was biting on it, trying to drag it away, and it couldn't because I use cable now. And
Yeah. Man. Yeah, that sounds terrible up there. I mean, all the wildlife and stuff that gets murdered, well, in stock, wild cows and stuff,
oh sure, yeah.
sheep.
My grandpa lives in Tamarack National Wildlife Refuge, and there's a ton of them up there. And he's old school. When he wanted a deer, he lives in an old trailer house at their old farm. He just puts his gun next to the table and waits for one to walk through the yard.
Yeah.
And maybe 10 or 12 years ago, the deer started getting more scarce and more scarce, and now, he literally has to sit by the window for like 7 days straight to have a deer come through.
Just for a deer, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like all you guys need is some wild hogs up there now.
Oh my gosh,
You get the trifecta up
I was
there.
gonna say I've heard horror stories about hogs everywhere, like just
Yeah.
overrunning everything rampant. Got a couple of them in front of me. Whereas, let's see here. I know some boys from Wisconsin.
Next gen's got a comment for you because I don't use windproof mics.
Oh, yeah. Do either of you have the windproof mics? I'm really thinking about trying one with how windy it gets around here. Next gen, I will say that they are 1,000% worth it.
Except for this part. You're breathing really
Except for the
heavy.
heavy breathing where people think I'm
Like, are you dying?
Somebody remember that one guy's like, "Do you smoke and vape? Better stop there, bud." And I'm like, dude, like
Dead man walking.
everybody's huffing and puffing when they're going through the snow fishing. Like,
My GoPro, because I don't wear a hat, my GoPro is literally right here. So you're gonna hear me breathing. They're like, "You're dying, dude. You didn't even know it yet, but you're dead."
so on a video of mine about a month or so ago, I took some high school kids out for the fishing championship. If anybody's watched that video, it's hilarious because I got my microphone clipped to my hat right here, and I'm putting the trolling motor away, but I got a GoPro rolling in the back of the boat. The one the one kid says something to me, and I look up like fast, and in slow motion, you can see my windproof mic go right off my head over the edge of the boat, right into the lake.
Yeah. So it's gone.
And I've been trying to order just the microphone for it for a month. The company that makes them, Rhodes microphone, they're like the best. They're like, yeah, we're gonna have that item in order, or in stock in like a week if you want to order one. I ordered one. 3 weeks afterwards, I'm like, hey, you guys gonna have it on stock? Yeah, probably next week. I actually canceled the order just yesterday. I got in. I ordered a whole brand new set.
Yeah.
I just got a brand new set of those microphones in, like I said, yesterday. So you guys gonna hear one.
You got a brand that's your favorite?
Yep, Rode. They're called Rode.
Just a
Rode
Rode.
wireless
Oh,
mic.
yeah.
They are. Yeah, they are. I mean,
Easy to hook up.
easy to hook up. They mounts right to your. Well, so I got the GoPro mod, whatever, with it. So,
Yeah.
and I have a yellow tech stick for the boat, so I can plug it all in and power it all the time. But it like I said, it's super easy to plug it all in. I mean, you pretty much plug it in, turn it on, and it starts working immediately.
Yeah. Someone commented, Dominion said you can edit that out, but I just can't edit 30 minutes of footage to get the
No,
sound out. And then
I've
it sounds
tried
like
to.
you're in a bucket after you mess up the edits,
Yeah,
and then you're
yeah. Remove the wind noise, and it sounds like I'm got the
yeah,
worst cold of my life.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but there's no H in it trapped up.
yeah. It's just like ROGES.
But you got to have that mod, I believe, on all GoPros, and it's like $80.
Yeah. Yep. Got to have
Even the
that.
11s, I think, have to have the mod. That's a downfall with the GoPros. Is that stupid? Because I have a DJI and I just bought the top, the wireless mic for the top of it, and it plugs right in, and you don't have to have any mods. I wish GoPro was the same way.
Sure. Let's see. Oh, I just got the Rode Wireless 2 and love it. Yep, Dominion. That's what I use is the Rode Wireless 2. It's a fantastic windproof mic for sure.
I'm just picturing me losing it on the trap line or forgetting it
Yeah, it'll definitely happen.
because I film every single day once trapping season starts.
Let's see here. Midwestern. When do you start on the fall mushrooms? Actually, right now, the hen of the woods are out full blast. I've been working so much, and when I'm not working, I'm fishing, and I got to make it out and get some of those hen of the woods and just stock up one day. I have one spot that produces more than all of them, and it's nothing but like 200 of the biggest oak trees.
That's
And
I have never had either.
oh, I just yeah, they're just fantastic tasting, for one thing. And I usually get a bunch of them, get like a couple 1 gallon bags basically, and just vacuum pack them into edible size portions, and
Yeah.
good to go for the winter.
And he trapped up the Rode wireless works for everything, but GoPro has to have the mod to use it. So it'll work right on your regular camera because it's probably got all the
Yeah.
hotspots, whatever it
Yep.
needs.
Absolutely. Yep. People, Scabby 76. People were commenting about me sweating after walking in a mile and then out carrying 90 pounds of beaver. They do. You look at some of my stuff from last year. It's just like people. I sound like Darth Vader. I'm like, people are like,
Well,
you die?
I don't I don't stop and compose myself. I'm walking up a hill, breathing hard, and I look up there, and there's two bobcats, and it's even worse. Then it makes it even worse. I'm breathing really heavy, and
Or
sometimes
miss
I'm
like a lot of it's just trudging. For here, it's trudging through snow.
yeah.
It's easy to walk across ice, but once you get 6 inches of snow, now you actually have to lift your foot up instead of just drag it.
I
Yeah.
I got a place I call the Hill of Death, and every time I get a
Oh.
beaver there, I got to carry it up a hill, almost throwing it up above me every time, hoping it snags a tree or something. And those are the ones where you almost throw up when you finally get it back up there. But
Mm-hmm.
it's one of my better places to trap. So
It's usually like maybe this year I'll just do a specific video of heavy breathing.
yeah,
Just from carrying beavers up, I'm just into the microphone for like 4 minutes. I'll just do nothing but that. Another thing about those Rhodes wireless mic is you have to be sure, because it comes with a little red wire about that long. It has a jack on both ends. One goes into the microphone or the receiver, other one goes in your GoPro mod. You have to make sure that those are pushed in all the way, and then test it, because when Trapper Jay and Eleanor were up here, we shot some really good video, and there is no audio to it, which sucks.
Next Gen, thanks for coming in, buddy. Judith says I should just put a rope down, and I do have that planned out this year. I'm going to go stake rope in some of my worst places, and then I probably won't catch nothing. But I'm going to plan ahead. I want one of them winches. I want a DeWalt 20-volt winch that I can just go like Batman, back up the hill. Whee!
That's a great idea.
Beaver on my shoulder, like I rappel down the hill.
Oh.
Put the winch in reverse. Pull me back up. I need one. So DeWalt's watching.
So you're sync it with the video and editing software, then mute the video audio.
You see, he's
Dominion,
talking foreign language. He's
Dominion,
foreign language.
I know you can do that, but how do you do that? I should probably Google that, because I need to know how to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how to do any of that.
All right, Next Gen says, all right, guys, I'm taking off for the night. Awesome. Live, had a lot of fun. Well, good talking to you, man. And looking forward to seeing you next summer, bud.
So that's the end of July, 3:30.
Okay.
It's when I got it wrote down here. 25th through the 27th.
Okay.
If I can get an Airbnb on a lake, that'd be badass.
Oh, my God, it'd be great.
I sent you that one. It's fairly close to there that I went to.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, trapped up. I was going to die when we walked all the way for those big crappies, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Oh, we were crushing those giants. Oh, it was fun.
A Wolverine would be fun.
Would be.
I get invited to Alaska all the time for halibut and stuff, but it's just getting there because I don't fly, so I have to drive past 3:30. And how am I going to pass up my favorite lake in Detroit Lakes? You know, I was on my way to Alaska, but I got stuck on this little Pike Lake. So yeah, I'll just spend 15 days camping.
Oh,
I'll come out with a big beard. I need a shower. I go to a truck stop, take a shower.
This year we're hitting Devil's Lake for sure, as long as there isn't 3 feet of snow.
I got a goal of getting to Lake of the Woods also. So, because just so many people tell me I need to go there. It's an extra 2 hours from you?
Sure.
It's a drive.
Yeah, it's about 3.5, 4 hours from me to go to Lake of the Woods and
far?
Pike Fish.
Well, I guess I'm not turning at Fargo, so I'm going straight. So that cuts off a little bit.
Yeah, it's Lake of the Woods is definitely a lot of fun. Like I said, you never know when you're gonna hook into a monster.
Well, when I went up there last time on the ice, you guys, the day I was leaving, you're like, "Are you sure you don't want to stay and we're gonna make a trip up to Lake of the Woods?" It's like, oh man, I got responsibilities somewhere.
No, you don't.
I just send pictures of Trapped Up. Look at this. You could be here. But hey, when he came up, his wife thought I was going to murder him. First time he came up there. She's like, you don't even know him. What if he kills you?
So, my first 40-inch pipe.
That ruined my plans. You know, I couldn't do it.
That's not when you guys come up here, was it?
Yeah. The first time. That was the one time he came up with me.
That's awesome.
Like we've done some videos together, but obviously we didn't go stay somewhere 8 hours away. So She was
So
scared for his life, feared for his life.
I got a buddy in Fargo, an hour away. His name is Jacob Dollable. He's got a YouTube channel called Jagged Tooth Tackle. Really nice guy. We were talking about pike fishing Devil's Lake. This was maybe like 6 years ago. I'm like, pike fishing up there is just great. And he's like, well, we should go one day. I'm like, we should. And it was like Tuesday. He's like, do you want to go on Friday for like 2 or 3 days? I'm like, I don't know. And I looked at my wife and I'm like, I'm going to go to Devil's Lake for 3 days on Friday. And she's like, with who? I said, some guy from the internet.
My new friend.
I said, some guy from the internet. She's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no. She's like, whatever. So then,
good luck.
Yeah, if you look back, that was honestly some of my best video up there.
Really?
We went there. Like I caught 3 or 4 in one day that were between 38 and like 42.
Damn.
They were just, I mean, it was great. And like I said, I just drove to his house, never been to his house, never met him, just talked to him online a few times, never met him in person at all.
Yeah.
Drove to his house, left the truck there, threw the fishing stuff in his truck, and we just took off. It was great.
Yeah. What is it? Jeffrey Dahmer show?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I just want a 40-incher, man.
Hey, let's go to Devil's Lake. Devil's Lake or Lake of the Woods. At least if we go to Devil's Lake, we can chase big, nice walleyes and jumbo perch at the same time.
Well, Devil's Lake's definitely closer. I need to book a ice castle or whatever they are for a week too at some point.
Sure.
Not there, maybe in your area. I don't know. I got to look around.
Yeah,
because the wife, I tell her how fun ice fishing is, but she's never caught nothing good through the ice.
So oh, sure.
I got to do that fancy glam ice camping deal.
Yeah, the one guy that I guide for, he does hard cider houses, good ones, and then there's another buddy of mine, a guide. His name is Randon Olson. Last year he had his on some good. It was sunfish, big. The crappies were really big. And
I figure I can run and gun during the day.
Oh, absolutely.
And just a place to chill at night instead of getting a motel. Might as well be able to ice fish. And,
so many lakes around there to do it on too.
Yeah. I don't know. We were also going to build one, but that never happened. I've been building everything else. It'd be hilarious to build one and drag it up there, but I don't know. Never happened. But I think I'm going to go inside, man.
Yeah, I better go home.
How far are you from home?
Like 2 minutes.
Nice.
My house. I live like a mile down the road from the shop here, so I got a little honey-do list action to take care of when I get home too. So.
Yep. Well, I appreciate it, man. I had a lot of fun.
Me too. It's surprising how the time flies.
It does, especially if you do like I normally do and just hit this thing a lot. And then you're like, oh God. I did a test live last night that went 2 hours. Like, how does that even happen?
I had one here myself.
Yeah.
Off camera. Yeah.
When you disappeared for that little short time, I'm like, well, he never really asked how long we were going to do a live for. And I just figured you would say, I got to go. And then you you froze up and you were gone.
We're talking. All of a sudden my phone goes black. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
So I resent the link. I'm like, oh, maybe it's frozen, and he just doesn't realize it yet. I think you get a text saying, "Enter the chat, enter this stream." Like, what?
Yep.
I've been talking for 27 minutes. So I appreciate it. If you ever want to do another one, or you need to do a few lives of your own. So
absolutely. Hey, thanks to everybody for coming in, chatting for a while. It was fantastic. Thanks, Dave, for having me, bud.
And like I say, if you don't have 330 Maniac, go check out his videos and subscribe and push him to set up that coyote line. 1 week. 1 week.
I got to give it a name like this trapper told me I need to catch a coyote.
Yeah, I tease Iowa Trapper the same. I'm like, he's like, there's a spot right there I should put a snare. Yeah, get it going. A little bit of something different. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, man. Take it
All
easy.
right. Have a good
I
night, bud.
appreciate it.
See you
See
later.
you, man.
All right. Bye.
Oh, frozen. See you guys. I appreciate it.